Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you. I'm trying to get myself here dialed in on the YouTube feed for all you people on the radio. Sorry. I need to restart. All right. All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday when I woke up, so I've been a little bit out of sorts all morning. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
You know, we have a different show open for every day of the week now.
I love it.
And from 6 a.m. when it starts, some of the songs kick in at different times.
Yes.
One song is 30 seconds in, one song's 45 seconds in, one song's a minute in before we start actually talking. And I have to time that out. We have a 1-minute countdown on our YouTube page. And I was thinking, all right, it's Wednesday, so that means it's Jim Morrison.
We have an hour.
Queens of the Stone Age.
We have 15 minutes to get that thing
And then
going.
I started hearing Foreigner. I go, nope, it's Tuesday.
Yep.
It is Tuesday.
I'm telling you, man, January is not going to end. I'm pretty sure. To my left is Benjamin Higgins. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good start today, boys. We got 3 hours and 58 minutes to go until 10 o'clock.
Really hot. I got a phone call yesterday from our beloved leader, Adam Klug, and he's like, hey. And I go, oh,
What do we do now?
What do we do now? He just wanted to shoot the breeze and catch up. But he goes, look, I know that it's slow right now. I know that the off season has been boring. He said, but he goes, I gotta tell you, your audience is still showing up. You guys had huge streaming numbers yesterday. I go, we did. I
guess it was the worst show we've ever
I
done.
was like, that is terrible. That is absolutely terrible.
Ben was just talking about sex toys.
And his deviant behavior and just
orgasmic revelation.
Exactly. What was the password again, Paulie? The code to sign up to get 10%.
The promo code.
The promo code.
Lubed.
Yeah. So I said, well, I guess that's good to know. I'll just be honest with you guys. I try to be as honest as I can. I would understand if you guys wanted to just bail and come back when the baseball season starts. I would like to do that. If I did not have to be here right now, I absolutely would not be. It's so slow.
We did this like 3 years ago. It was my favorite thing. We came back. We did the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's on a Sunday. We came back. We did a show on Monday, and I think we even did a show on a Tuesday. And then we took the next 8 days off and came back when pitchers and catchers reported.
It's so weird to me too, because it's like the beginning of the year. You know, you want to come charging out of the gates, and we have, and it's good. And look, I love being here. This is a great gig. But when you're perusing over the sports world and going, I can't even find anybody that's gotten in trouble at all. No one's even getting, like one arrest for don't do this. It's lean out there, and Major League Baseball is certainly not doing us any favors. I saw a trade come down last night, and I dove headlong into it. It has nothing to do with either of the any teams I like. I couldn't care less about either of these teams, but I'm like, oh, Jorge Polanco on the move. So we'll get to that in its entirety today, I'm sure. It's just a really, really slow time. So I do appreciate you guys being here.
The insults are already flying on the YouTube chat. I don't know why. Gran Bino asks, why is Ben dressed like a 7-year-old? I had the same shirt in second grade. I like this shirt. This is it's a black 2-button shirt, like a polo shirt with 2 blue stripes, a thicker, darker blue stripe and a lighter blue stripe. Kind of got a tennis quality to it, except it's black.
A little golf, tennis.
Well, yeah. I've always liked this shirt. Don't know what's the problem with it. Is there something wrong with my shirt?
I didn't think that at all. You wear way worse clothes than that.
Thanks.
Way worse clothes than that.
Thank you.
That's actually one of the better shirts I've seen you wear.
Well, Paulie said that Adam needed a picture of us, so I wanted something that I thought would look good in a photograph.
Yeah, we have to take a picture together today. I still don't know why. I have no idea. EST3 says, let's do an everyone roast each other show. I don't have it in me, man. If you guys want to call it.
Don't we do that every day?
Yeah, don't we do it enough? Justin says, you're looking good, Ben. And I think you are. You're looking fine.
Thank you.
I had to ask the wife about the beard. You guys haven't commented on the beard. It's scraggly for me. It's long and longer than it's ever been, really. What do you think? Yay or nay? It's if you stand if I'm far away, it looks good. Up close, when you get close, you can see how like patchy and gray. But I said, do you like it? And she said, yeah, I do.
It's funny. I did notice before you pointed it out that it's a little bit longer. You always have a bit of a
There's
beard. I really don't concern myself with how long it is. I mean, until you get to Justin Turner territory, and
That
then I'm
would
going to
never
go,
happen.
all right, this is something needs to be done here, Woodsy.
No, that's
whether
that'll
it's
never
very, very lightly, just a little bit of hair on your face or a little bit more, not a huge concern to me. I stay out of other people's business for the most
their facial
part.
hair.
Yeah.
But
you don't stay out of other people's
no,
business.
I mean,
as
look,
much.
we're in the business of noticing things and saying, "Oh, that's an interesting new set of glasses," or like that's our whole job. Don't you think?
I am
to
probably
notice.
in the wrong industry.
Yeah.
then. I'm in the business of noticing.
Well, I
things.
mean, this has got to be killing you because sports right now is just brutal. I mean, it's brutal. It's always tough after the playoff. We got that 2-week lag to the Super Bowl and just kind of waiting for Padres to make a move. And, every day that goes by is just another day where you just turn into like a nihilist. I mean, you're just like, nothing good is ever going to happen. And it's a terrible feeling. And you see guys come off the board. Guys that if somebody put a gun to your head and they said, you have to have him on your team 6 months ago, you go, I don't want that guy. Are you kidding? Now that he's
And
off
I'm like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing here? Guys are falling off the board every day.
Aaron Hicks probably going to be an all-star. What
Aaron
are we
Hicks
doing?
is dropping 30 bombs in Anaheim next year for nothing, by the way. So you do kind of wonder what the guys are up to down there at Petco Park, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Ben did make the point last week, I think, of you don't really have to have a roster done now. You have to. Your roster's ever changing. I get it, and I think you're right. But it's also okay to be a little bit panicked about what's going on as guys continue to come off the board. Report this morning that Justin Turner is about to sign with the Blue Jays. Now that's from John Morosi. He really biffed the Shohei news, so we'll see if that holds up today. But yeah, we are.
It's now official, according to John Morosi.
There you go.
Justin Turner, Blue Jays in agreement on 1-year deal.
Like if you told me 6 months ago Justin Turner is going to be a Padre, I would have kicked something. Now I'm like, oh my God, he would have mashed here. He would have absolutely mashed. He would have been that veteran leader that we need, and so he's off the board now as well. But yeah, interesting times. Not really. In the world of baseball. Yesterday was one of those brutally long days. Just a long Monday, just a long-ass Monday. And I got into bed at 7:30, and I was just cashed. I was probably asleep by 8. I came home. I went from here to the gym, home to the sick. Taylor was home sick, so we had that. And sick, finger quotes. I mean, the kid was running around. Like, he was fine. Tried to put him down for a nap. Then we had to take them both to swim class, come home, feed them, put them to bed. I was so cashed when I got into bed last night. And, nothing on TV. It was just one of those kind of dark, dull Mondays. I know you worked last night.
I did. You're still sore from fantasy camp, though.
I feel better now.
Are you finally recovering a little bit?
It's getting back in the gym felt good. I felt like kind of a load because I didn't do anything last week at all. But got back in the gym yesterday. They had some water damage in our gym with the rain, so they had to tear kind of all the turf up, so that everyone was kind of cramped. Everyone's trying to roll their sore muscles, and everyone's kind of in a cramped space. And but now it felt good to get back in there, and that's one of the unintended consequences of when I start playing baseball again. It makes me want to exercise. When I'm not doing something, when I'm not, like, if I don't have a game or something or a team to play on, I tend to get a little bit lazier. So, and like Paulie, you play basketball and stuff. It makes you want to get in better shape. So that's been good. That's been a good consequence of signing up for adult ball again.
Speaking of water damage, I was listening to Megan's forecast last night on ABC 10 News, and we got a lot of rain coming again this week. Thursday is the big day. 1 to 2 inches on the coast, with 3 inches of possibly in local areas.
Holy smokes.
And then it'll taper off Friday. Saturday looks okay, and then Sunday evening into Monday and Tuesday, another significant rainstorm coming up. So if you are still cleaning up from the last amount of rain, batten down the hatches because it's coming again. We're just in this storm track. El Nino. February looks like it's going to be a very wet month coming up, and just be prepared if you can, because it is on its way to the California coast.
You know, and I saw there was a group, I think it was Sons of Montezuma. They're doing a watch party tonight. And let me get the details for you guys so I can give them to you right now, give them a shout out. And that's the real bummer, Ben, is that you've got organized cleanups going on this weekend, or this week, and then more rain's going to come. And, okay, so SDSU Aztecs Watch Party Flood Relief Fundraiser. It is tonight, 6 to 10. And
watch party for the game?
Watch party for the game. And they want people to donate cleaning supplies, disinfectants, toiletries, gift cards, plastic bins, non-perishable food, new socks, gloves, laundry cards. Here's the... Oh, it's at Overtap. Okay, from 6 to 10.
I don't think I've heard of Overtap.
I don't think I have either. Overtap. It's a donation fundraiser hosted by the Sons of Montezuma. And look, so you're going to be doing cleanups and you're going to be doing fundraisers, and then this could happen again. So if you know somebody that was affected by the last storm, please make sure you reach out to everyone and let them know to get ready for this one. Now, again, things happen. Remember when we were supposed to have those gale force winds and all that a few months back, and it turned out to be nothing? That's exactly what we want. We want the weather people in town. They want to be wrong on this. They don't want it to be as bad as the last one was. So. Be prepared. Get as prepared as you can. Reach out to those who may need some help, the elderly, people that are struggling right now. See what we can do to help them. Let us know how we can help as well. But yeah, I hope it's nothing. I hope it's much ado about nothing.
Over the tap.
Over the tap.
I'm sorry.
Over the tap in National City.
There we go. Over the tap in National City tonight, 6 to 10. There's a watch party. Bring all those items listed. You can get the details. It's on our Instagram story. But no, I think, and my wife actually makes a good point. Don't be all sarcastic and annoyed if it turns out to be nothing. It doesn't make you a tough guy that the weather didn't turn out like this. This is actually what we want. We want them to say, hey, it's going to be bad. Prepare. It's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared, as we've seen from the last one. So make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you take care of your family. Again, the elderly. If you know somebody that may need some help, sandbags and things like that, man, batten down the hatches, like Benny said, because this town, when that stuff happens, it feels like it just hits us worse than others. So make sure you're prepared.
All right, that was a nice rambling 13 minutes to start the show.
Well, get
Is
used
everybody
to it.
warmed up? All right, let's get going. We'll set the menus for what's coming up today. It'll be I'll spoil it right now. Another guestless show on tap for Ben and Woods. We will talk some Padres baseball coming up. We'll let you know. There was one player that the Padres were rumored to be in on yesterday. We'll talk about that coming up as well. Don't go anywhere. Just getting started. Ben and Woods, Tuesday morning, not Wednesday, gentlemen. Tuesday morning on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's see how the traffic looks out there with Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan. Happy birthday to the one and only Phil Collins, 74 today. And I was looking up. I have always enjoyed Phil Collins' music. I didn't.
It's the understatement of the year.
I didn't know, like,
You're kidding.
Personally,
Get out of town.
that he wasn't well liked by his colleagues. In fact, according to one author, many of his peers despised him.
100%, man. I think he was very difficult to work with. I mean, he was in Genesis, and then they split, and he had his solo career. But I think he's kind of a D, or was.
Rock historian Martin Strong says, truly polarized opinion from the start, his ubiquitous smugness making him a favorite target for critics.
Now you see him.
What does that feel like, Woods?
I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Oh, from it. Yeah, my peers hate me.
Yeah, exactly.
They hate me. Which look, I'll say this. There is a fraternity of sports radio hosts and ex-sports radio hosts in this town. They don't like me. And I'm so effing thankful for that, because that is literally the worst fraternity I've ever seen. Remember the Tri-Lambs? It's those guys. I wouldn't want to be in that fraternity for all the tea in China.
Now, I am kind of in that.
100,
careful what you say.
100%.
I am in the
Spank
fraternity.
you with his paddle.
I am so thankful
You are
to be
not in the fraternity.
ostracized. Oh, my God. I can't think of a worse fraternity. No, I'm still... My music crew, tight. Still tight.
I do feel like you get misunderstood a little bit. Maybe
Like
Phil Collins
Phil
did
Collins.
as well.
Yeah. Must be some misunderstanding. It must be some kind of mistake.
And I try to explain what a great coworker you are to people. Like, you would love, if you got to know Woods.
They don't get it.
You would love Woods.
They don't get it.
But
I'd be nice
some
to
people
them.
don't take the time to really get to know Woods.
No, I'm very thankful to not be a part of that fraternity. Like insanely grateful.
But take a look at you now.
Look at me now. It's just an empty space. No, I've it used to really bug me, and then it just clicked, and I went, "What do you care? You don't wear cargo shorts and New Balance tennis shoes, and you have other interests outside of sports. That's a good thing, in my opinion. Well-roundedness and all that. But I'm not a part of that fraternity. And I'm really happy. That's not like insecure. Like, it's taken me a long time to get there, for sure. But I'm finally more than okay with it. Absolutely more than okay with it. But Phil, you look at Phil Collins. Like, if you saw him on the street, you'd be like, Hey, buddy, how you like? He looks like a guy you want to sit and grab a meal with, but apparently he's just a huge turd. So it's like I don't really get it. They say truly don't judge a book by its cover. If you judged him by his cover, he looks like the sweetest old guy ever. But man, you want to talk about a 180? I can remember we did a show. It was when we very first started, and he was like going back on tour. And people were making a big deal out of it, and I just powered me down. I was like, oh, no, not Phil Collins. Man, the older I get, the more I dig it, the more I appreciate it. I think he's fantastic, I really do.
I think second acts are a great thing, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You see artists who change, like, their personality. Like, Elton John is totally different now than he was, 30, 40 years ago. And that's great. He was great 30, 40 years ago, but Elton John today is also a different kind of great of who he is. And you can always have that second act, especially in public life.
No doubt about it, man. And I love that, like, everything eventually, if it's good, it comes back again. And that's what Phil Collins is. And I'm telling you, the older I get, man, the more I dig it. I absolutely love it. So happy birthday to Phil Collins. I'm sorry you're a jerk.
I feel like AJ Preller is getting a second act, a third act. He goes through more transitions of loved, despised, despised over and over again among the Padres fan base.
It's funny, I don't know that he's in the fraternity of GMs either. There's a lot. You know what I mean?
It's plenty of reports in years that other GMs not huge fans of AJ Preller, to the point that I worried, will it impact his ability to do his job, because other GMs don't really like him that much, but it's never really seemed to impede him from making deals. In fact, he makes more deals with teams like the Rays that don't make deals oftentimes. So, he's worked with just about everybody, and it doesn't seem to be that much of an issue. But no, I get the sense as well that AJ isn't hugely popular among his peers either.
Yeah, it happens. It's tough life for us, for we artists.
Now, where do you stand right now on A.J. Preller? We'll talk about the Padres coming up, who they didn't sign yesterday, who they didn't sign this morning, and who they are rumored to be interested in to join the starting rotation coming up here at 6:35. I think that a lot of people go, the one thing that I'm not worried about, it feels as though, is AJ asleep at the wheel? I know he's not asleep at the wheel.
The perception that he is kicking it on a beach somewhere, smoking joints,
I know that's
drinking
not true.
Coronas, is just not true. I think that's the thing is man, wouldn't you rather know going into something like, Paulie, if I come to you and I in the morning and I say, hey man, today's going to suck for us. And then you can prepare yourself. The problem with our fan base is no one's prepared because no one has come out and said, hey, it's going to be a little bit lean. And I think we're all left to speculate and think to ourselves, oh, God, we're broke, or, oh, God, we can't afford this guy or can't afford that guy, or our
but
GM's not doing anything.
But nor should you ever tip your cards and say something like that.
You shouldn't.
Not even to your own fans. You don't want, whatever your strategy is, you don't want that information out for other teams, for agents. You want to play it close to the vest. You want to be a little mysterious when it comes to your overall offseason strategy.
Yeah,
Padres could still explode and make a bunch of moves here. It doesn't feel like that's going to happen, but they haven't locked themselves into some corner where we know, well, they can't possibly do this, they can't possibly do that, because they haven't said anything. It keeps all the options open going forward.
Well, I think we rip every time we hear an owner in the offseason, or even a GM. We rip them. We say, when they come out to the media and go, well, we're probably done now. We can't afford it. And last year was this, last year was that. We've said it a billion times. Dude, you are a billionaire. You're a billionaire. You get revenue sharing money. It's inexcusable. Padres payroll right now hovering around $147 million, according to your notes last night. Ben, I'm going to take you at your word there. $147 million right now. Yeah, man, there's got to be 20 to 25 more spent. There just has to be at this point. For need and honestly for posterity's sake. Like, you have to do it. You raise ticket prices. You're expecting the fans to come out again. You got to spend some more money before this thing ends. You have to. You don't have a choice.
I guess for me,
you can't roll into it at 147 right now with an incomplete roster.
I think I've officially this week started to hit the panic button in my head.
Sure.
And I know you don't have to have your opening day roster on the day pitchers and catchers report.
Yep.
It just feels like this roster is more incomplete than, I don't know, any other year that I've followed the Padres.
Or any other team in baseball.
Right.
That's how you feel,
It's pretty rough. My question to you guys, I don't know. I feel like I hope I'm speaking for part of the fan base, at least, if not the majority of the fan base, that's also starting to panic when they look at this roster or lack thereof. Do you think A.J. Preller is panicking at all? Or is he just cool, calm, and collected because he's got some master plan going on in the back of his head?
Knowing him the way that we do, I don't know that he has a. If he
ever panics?
If he has a panic bone in his body, I've never seen it. I've talked to him a billion times. I've never seen him panic, right? And I don't know that you can have that job if you're a panicker. You can't have. I can't be me and do that. Woods would not be a good GM. Ben would be an okay GM, but you can't have that panic button. And I don't think he's got that thing in him that panics. I think in his mind, he's like, no, I've got a plan, and we're going to execute it. And if not, I'll
go to plan B, and then I'll go to plan C. And that's, I think, the way to avoid panicking is to have
plans.
Lots of plans, and backup plans to your backup plans. There is a possibility that the Padres could spend 8 figures on a new pitcher, maybe even this week, according to some rumors floating around Major League Baseball. Let's get into those coming up in our next segment, the signings that went down yesterday in Major League Baseball. Coming up in our 7 o'clock hour, the discussion about Dan Campbell's decision-making continues unabated on most sports talk radio. I can't get away from it right now. I want to take a slightly different tack. A lot of people are looking at the analytics of football. I want to compare them to baseball because I feel like they've had a very different effect on the two sports. A trend toward analytics, like supercharging football and throttling back baseball a little bit in recent years. We'll play Take on Woods. Don't do this in our 7 o'clock hour. The Padres' exciting young prospects list from Jim Bowden and The Athletic. We can talk about that. His names are not necessarily the names that I was looking forward to this, but hey, everybody can look forward to their own prospects that they want to see during spring training. We'll get to all of that coming up and more. Don't go away. We're getting started here. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Can hear Super Bowl 58 from Westwood 1 next Sunday. That would be the 11th, right here on 97.3 The Fan, and for free on the Odyssey app. Pre-game coverage starts at 11 a.m. Kickoff is at 3:30. That is simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 days away from the Super Bowl. So 12 days of hype, 12 days of Chiefs and 49ers, 12 days of Taylor Swift talk. By the way, I'm glad someone pointed this out. After all of the consternation and people raging against Taylor Swift and ruining the NFL experience for them because they can't get away from her, someone actually went back and calculated how
This was great.
long she actually appeared on the NFC or the AFC Championship broadcast.
Yeah.
3 hours and 45-minute telecast between the Chiefs and the Ravens. And she was on for a total of 24 seconds.
Yep. And people lost
Out
their
of that
minds.
3 hours
Yeah.
and 45 minutes.
24 seconds.
And that's what is causing people to lose their minds.
Less than one commercial.
If you really want to know who's ruining football games with their constant appearances, look at Jake from State Farm. He is on much more than Taylor Swift on a football game. Much more often. But everyone gets to have their opinion. I can't.
Fragile alpha males aren't afraid of Jake from State Farm.
I can't deny anybody their right to
Powerful
feel
woman,
the way
scary.
they do. And if you have a visceral negative reaction toward Taylor Swift, I can't tell you that you're wrong. I would like you to be able to explain, though, like the rational reason why you think
Of why?
it's so bad for
Right.
football,
Well,
for
Somebody made the
everybody's experience of watching football.
When I was growing up and the Lakers would be on, you saw Jack Nicholson for 45 minutes a game.
Don't remember hearing a
Not
lot
one
of people
word. Now-
complaining about
Now,
that.
Twitter didn't exist then, but it was Jack Nicholson for 45 minutes, sitting back with his sunglasses, coked out of his tree. Like, we saw it.
Is that what is going on?
Yes,
Ah,
come on,
okay.
bro. It's
I
fresh
know,
out of
I know exactly
Yeah,
the
the
look that
face.
You're picturing.
fresh out of the
Sitting
Playboy
back,
Mansion. Like, what are we talking about
very
here?
still. I didn't know you were so still, but very happy that it's
Happy.
still.
He's
Yeah.
probably stoned, to be honest. But no, I mean, it's like, who cares, man? At the end of the day, who cares? It was 24 seconds. 24 seconds. I didn't even notice. Like,
It was when Kelsey scored his touchdown.
Yeah.
There was like a 4-second shot, and then a couple of other,
I saw a
went back,
shot
and
of
that was
her
it.
saying, "Get me off camera," or
Yeah,
something
twice.
like. She's like, "Get me
Like,
out of here,
please. Yeah,
please,
please,
enough."
stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Go away, please.
It is what it is at this point. Like, that's her boyfriend. They're in love.
And did you
And-
see the audio analysis of Travis Kelce actually saying, I love you.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Taylor
they're
Swift after the game. They've already reached that stage. That's fast. Tell me.
It's not fast. They've been together for like 6 months.
Yeah.
This hasn't been that long.
Yeah,
has
it
it?
has.
It was during the season
Wasn't
that
it
they
like the
started.
very beginning of the season?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
which is like
still-
3 months ago.
No, they've been together a long. They've been together like 6
The
months.
football season started in September, October, November. So it's 4 months since the start of the season. They didn't start going out until the season was already underway.
Okay.
So we're talking about like 3 months around that time since their first date.
I told Hannah within the first 2 weeks, and she
Really?
told me too. Yeah, it was truly love at first sight. Our anniversary, our 10-year anniversary, the day we met is
Even if
this
you,
Sunday.
Even if you think that, though, to be vulnerable and open enough to
Oh.
say it that fast,
Bro, I had to. I didn't want her to get away.
Yeah,
So
that was
I
about a month.
you,
Yeah.
didn't, you didn't think you might scare her away, though.
No, man, you could. I knew it.
I knew it was
She knew it.
reciprocal. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was. I think
Wow.
she said it first. Actually, I think she said it first.
No,
I
I'm not
said
as
it first, and
emotionally-
Megan goes, "I do too." I was waiting for you to say it first, but I felt the same way.
Yeah, 100%. What did you do? What would you wait? 3 years?
I'll let you know.
I'll let you know. How awkward would that be? I love you. I like you. I like love. I love you. Just so awkward. Do you remember the first time you said it?
Not exactly, but it was awkward, I'm sure. Yeah.
God, I would kill for that audio. I would absolutely maim someone for that audio.
It's hard, though.
He's
I mean,
red right now.
The worst thing is wondering,
Will
are
they
gonna
say it
say
back?
it back? And-
I'm trying to think if I've ever said it and somebody didn't say it back. I don't think so. Not that I feel like I would remember that for sure.
Seinfeld, I love you. Said I love you. I heard you.
I heard you.
All right, let's check traffic, and then we'll talk about the signings in baseball. None of them from the San Diego Padres, but one rumor floating out there. It's at least a rumor season. I'll take a rumor at this point because it's better than what we've had for a little while. Coming up here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, guys, it continues to be a pretty uneventful ride, but no complaints. Yeah, we're just seeing the usual slowing in the usual spots. No incidents or accidents getting in your way. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I'm not sure, was it Morosi or Heyman?
Morosi
that the Padres were one of the teams linked with right-handed pitcher Michael Lorenzen in potential free agency talks. And we know the Padres are looking to add to their starting rotation. I had forgotten. So Lorenzen was an all-star last year with the Detroit Tigers. First half of the season was actually very solid before July. Was traded to the Phillies at the deadline, threw a no-hitter in his second start, and I kind of vaguely remember that. Oh, yeah, then what happened to him? Then completely fell off the map, faded very badly in August and September.
They didn't even – was he on the postseason
No, he was
roster?
left off the NLCS roster after posting about a 5.5 ERA with the Phillies. Now, he had jumped up from just, bullpen work in about 50 innings to 150 innings, and there was the thought – that the workload eventually got to him and he just ran out of gas the last couple of months of the season. Is that a name, Michael Lorenzen, that you'd be interested in? An all-star from last year.
Can he play the outfield? It's
Actually,
not like, he can hit a little bit.
Actually, he, if you'll remember, he actually has a pretty decent bat. He's got a career 710 OPS as a hitter.
It's better than Trent Grisham, my
Now,
friend.
most of that he had when he was with the Reds, playing in that amazing hitter's ballpark. They used him as a DH every once in a while. He had 54 really good at-bats for Cincinnati in 2018. Hasn't hit recently, but he said that he was open if a team is interested in bringing back his hitting skills.
Of course he is. Just like every position player wants to pitch.
As desperate as the Padres might be, a Michael Lorenzen starting pitcher and then, maybe once a week DH role, if he can hit, is not, I would think, is not completely out of the question.
It's completely out of the question.
It's completely out of the question, says Woods.
And I will absolutely riot if that happens, as you should too, Padres fans. Michael Lorenzen does not do a heck of a lot for me. He feels to me like Ben, and I don't know what he made last year. I don't know what his contract situation
So
is.
The projection would be, I saw 2 years, $22 million. Now, a lot of people have gotten more than their offseason projections, but you'd definitely be talking about an 8-figure deal, probably a couple of years at least, eating up at least a good chunk of what the Padres have remaining, but you'd plug him probably into your fourth starter role at this point. My thoughts?
I could get myself excited about it because I can get myself excited about anything, any new blood. But as you just pitched that to me, I'm going to pass on it.
Yeah, my thoughts are they certainly could take another step forward and, with more endurance throughout the season, could put together, he had a sub 3.5 ERA for much of the year last year. And there's not a team that would not take that from Michael Lorenzen for 130, 40 innings. I think the Padres need someone who they can count on for more innings if that's what they're looking for, and his lack of a track record of going deep into a season and getting more toward 170, 80 innings would be a cautionary tale for me. I look at it though, and AJ has done this a couple of times, chasing the all-star like Adam Frazier, and then they come to San Diego, they're not the same kind of player, and I just worry that Michael Lorenzen is actually the Michael Lorenzen from the second half of last season and not the first half of last season. And you don't want to pay a premium for a guy who's not going to be giving you premium returns when he arrives.
We all want a bargain bin guy that turns into Michael Walker. Not that he was, not that he didn't make a lot of money. It wasn't unreasonable. And Seth Lugo, he made money, but it wasn't unreasonable. I think, did either of them make $11 million a year? I don't think so.
No, they were more in the 6, I think, range.
I mean, everybody wants AJ to go out and find those two guys again.
But the 6 is now 11. 6 last year is 11 this year.
Sure.
I mean, that's just the way it's gone.
So I don't know.
I mean, could he be the Michael Wacha of this year,
Yeah.
the late signing that ends up being a really solid, back of the rotation? Yeah, he could.
Niebla Magic, maybe.
He absolutely could. There are certainly red flags. There's no perfect candidates right now. I mean, Blake Snell is the best that there's out there. And
That dude, if reports are accurate, that dude is asking for 9 years, 270 is the report I saw yesterday. 9 years.
I don't feel like there's a lot of teams that are interested in even coming close to that.
I feel like only the New York Mets would sign
not
that deal,
spending
and they're
anything
not
right now.
spending a ton of money right now either. So 270. Blake Snell's 31 years old. Holy smokes, man. 39-year-old Blake Snell at $30 million per. Hell, it may be a bargain in 9 years, but I doubt it. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of dough for him. And I wonder how much he's sweating it right now. I wonder how much Cody Bellinger's sweating it, Jorge Soler. Some guys out there that are going to get big paydays. It just doesn't feel like anyone's super active. A couple moves yesterday, a couple moves already today. We'll talk about those for sure. But, yeah, man, I just every day that goes by, I continue to get the feeling that AJ's just sitting back at the table. He's just waiting it out to see what's left.
Well, let's get into one of those because the other obviously need for the Padres is outfield. Even they have admitted that. AJ said we need a couple outfielders. We need another starting pitcher. Aaron Hicks was a guy who signed yesterday with the Angels on a 1-year deal. The interesting thing with Aaron Hicks, he was so bad that the Yankees released him last year, and they are on the hook for his salary for both this season and next season. But after he was released, he was picked up by the Orioles and really did actually play pretty well the last, month and a half of the season or so for Baltimore. The Angels get him and only have to pay him the minimum salary this year. The Yankees pay him the remainder of about the $9 million he's going to make this year. Any team could have, signed him theoretically for that minimum. You just had to convince him to join your squad. The fact that he went to the Angels would certainly make you believe that he would have been open to coming to the Padres. Southern California.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing inherently exciting about the Angels right now. Even outfield opportunities, they have a more crowded outfield than the Padres do. So if he's looking for playing time, San Diego would have been a more likely destination. The only possible logical conclusion I can reach is that A.J. Preller was not interested in Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, potentially. I read that they have 5 major league outfielders right now, Joe Adell being one of them. Joe Adell is out of options. So
Mickey Moniak.
Yeah, Mickey Moniak, Joe Adell, Mike Trout, Aaron Hicks, and then there's one more. But yeah, 5 outfielders.
Much more crowded than the Padres outfield situation.
Much more.
So it doesn't feel like Aaron Hicks was weighing 2 exactly same offers from the Padres and Angels and went, I'll go with the Angels. It makes it feel like the Padres were not interested. And that's the Padres right. That's what scouting is. And you don't think that guy is a fit or he's not going to perform well, you don't sign players like that. But we are so, right now as a fan base, so desperate for, some outfield help. We'll look at Aaron Hicks and we'll go, how did you let that guy get away?
100%.
Kind of,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
They all turn into the most beautiful girl in the room. When they go somewhere else, you're like, oh my God, I let this dime slip through my fingers. Listen, the knock on him in New York, Benny, the knock on him there was never that he couldn't handle like New York. It was he was just kind of unaffected. I would see it all the time. People would say, my man's more focused on apparently he's like a +2. He's a really good golfer. He just wants to play his game, get his check, and go out and play golf. Like somebody I know here to my left. It's one of those deals. So maybe it's a good thing that he didn't come here if that's, his mentality. Now they got Trent Grisham out there, which that's kind of been the knock on him as well, as he was just kind of unaffected, whatever, I'm just going to do my thing. I don't know. I don't know that he was a fit here other than he has a heartbeat and plays baseball. Anybody with a heartbeat that plays baseball, we all want to think that they're a fit. Maybe they know something that we don't, and maybe it's a good thing they didn't sign him. But it does open the possibility that a Joe Adell, a Mickey Moniak could be on the block. And if those are names that you're interested in, maybe they could be had for a real low-level type prospect. But Joe Adell's out of options, so they can't send him back down. So he's on the club or he's not. And he, again, we all get excited about prospects. There was no bigger prospect than Joe Adell over the last few years, and nothing's really happened yet.
Paulie wrote in our rundown, I think it's a good question. Does the fact that the Padres essentially passed on Aaron Hicks tell you that A.J. Preller might be working on something bigger?
Kind of, yeah.
I think it almost certainly.
Like, are we in a position?
If they were.
You mentioned it, like players that are guys that 6 months ago we would have been like, absolutely not. Now, a week and a half before pitchers and catchers report to Peoria, I'm thinking, are we really in a position to pass down anybody that's played at the major league level, especially when it's for the minimum because another team is paying their salary? I don't know.
If they were truly that desperate, they could have signed Aaron Hicks. They could have made a case for it. They could have sold it like, hey, you see what this guy did the last couple of months of the season? The fact that they didn't.
You could have offered him $1 million. It would have been more than he's going to get with the Angels.
The fact that they didn't makes me feel actually good. It makes me feel like one way or another, AJ knows he's getting something. He knows it's probably one or two guys that he's been targeting, that he's getting close. Hasn't been any reports on it, but maybe it's a trade, maybe it's a signing. It feels like there's no panic right now from the Padres front office. There's panic from the fan base, but there is no panic. Signing Aaron Hicks would have been a bit of a panic-looking move at this point. That's all you've got left.
Isn't anything now at this point? Doesn't it feel like a panic move if you sign somebody off the scrap heap, so to speak? If you go out and make a trade for a guy that you really like and target, that's a different story.
That's what I'm thinking we could be heading toward.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you can make panic moves now, and they're not.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a good sign going forward for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah,
they're not in panic mode.
I wasn't super bummed to see him go yesterday at all. I think that's a fine fit for him, and he'll go out and he'll get his ABs and do his thing.
All right, let's come back. We'll play Take on Woods. I want to talk about analytics, and I am baffled as to the discussion on Dan Campbell. I want to relate this to baseball as well, because I think in football and baseball they are perceived very and used very differently in the two sports with different effects. We'll get to that coming up with Ben and Woods, second hour on next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Woods, you know me as a pretty level-headed guy for the most part.
Very level-headed.
Take things in stride. If I was Dan Campbell, I'd be losing my mind right now.
Why is that?
Because Dan Campbell is he's getting it both ways. I have heard the criticism of Dan Campbell that he was too emotional, going for it. He had to go for it, had to be in character, and he was irresponsible and not coaching the proper conservative way in the playoffs. And I also hear everyone saying Dan Campbell is beholden to the numbers and the analytics. He doesn't have a mind of his own. He's just going with what the computer tells him to do, and that is to go for it on fourth down. Can't be both. You can't be beholden to the numbers and the analytics and also a creature of your emotional decisions because you just want to go for it because you go for it all the time. And I've heard him criticized both ways. That's an opposite argument that people are making about Dan Campbell. One or the other may be true, but your decisions can't be so analytical that you take all the emotion out of it or so emotional that you take all the analytics out of it. But they're saying he's doing both right now, and why the Detroit Lions lost that game to the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think he cares. He seems like he is comfortable in his own skin, and he's comfortable with his own mistakes.
He said he understands the scrutiny, but he said he's not going to, he said, I'm going to stand by my decisions, and I like that accountability from a coach. Now, if I'm a Lions fan, I don't know how great I feel about it, but I think, you had a 24/7 lead. And you want to do everything in your power to keep that lead. It's not his fault they fumbled the ball. I mean, like you said yesterday, called a running play, and the guy booted the ball. An interception clanked off a guy's face mask. Like the fourth down and 3 that they went for hit the receiver right in the numbers. It's the right call. It was a bad execution.
We told you yesterday, the analytics were a toss-up. The analytics did not say that Dan Campbell made a mistake in going for either of those fourth downs. In fact, the numbers, by at least a couple of metrics, said he actually slightly increased his team's chances to win by going for it in each of those fourth down situations. Now, I certainly will listen to the argument that, maybe it would have been better for the team in those situations had they just kicked the field goal. But he wasn't going against the numbers when he went for it, that's for sure.
It's just like every Wednesday we come in here after Luis Garcia was called on to hold the lead and he didn't, or Brent Honeywell serves one up, and everybody on their couch knew that wasn't the right move after it happened, and that's it. The second guessing of it's what makes this all sports great, certainly. But you have such a clear eye after the plays already happened. It's moronic. It's masturbation is all it is. Coming in here and going, he should have done this, and you don't know what he knows. You don't know. You don't know if Mike Schilt walked by Brent Honeywell's locker and he's like, "You stink. You smell like Coors Light. I'm not going to you today, even though the numbers said I should go to you." You don't know that. There's a billion things that we don't know, but we like to come in here the day after something happens and go, well, it's very clear. You very clearly should have done this. I think the second guessing after it, I get it. It's part of the gig. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. The guy, there's a brilliant thread I read yesterday from an actual mathematician that kind of laid out and he makes the very valid football points. Is, hey, their offense is on fire. The kicker that they had is not the kicker they started the season with. Many don't even consider him a kicker in the NFL. He did what he had to do to win the game. He just didn't win it. The process was right. The results were wrong, and it happens that way. It's sports.
I think the rise, though, of the prevalence of analytics becoming more used in sports is very interesting when you compare it to football and baseball. I want to talk about this coming up. We have a game of Take on Woods in just a couple of minutes. The phone lines are open if you want to try to qualify for our trip to Las Vegas. Call now, 833-288-0973. Get on the line. We'll play here in just a couple of minutes. 833-288-0973. I think it's hard to argue that analytics has been bad for football, at least for fans, because can we all agree that one of the most boring plays in any football game is a punt?
Yes.
I mean, occasionally, once in a blue moon, someone will return one for a touchdown. That's pretty exciting. But 90% of the time, it's a fair catch. It goes into the end zone. It's just kind of a stop down. Even kickoffs and field goals aren't that
You'll see
exciting
them when you're watching Red Zone, but if you have a team that you follow and you watch those games every week, you probably see a punt return once every 2 years.
The kicking
years.
game is an essential part of football, but it's also the least entertaining part of the game. And what analytics has done is it has taken the emphasis away from the kicking game and more toward offenses. A 4th and 3 play. A do or die. You got to get the first down. You've got to get your star players on the field making a huge play. That ball is in the air. The quarterback throws it up. The receiver is diving. Whether he comes up with it or not, that's hugely entertaining for fans.
It's amazing.
And because analytics in football have shown the value is often higher in going for it than kicking a field goal or punting from the 45-yard line in those situations, we as fans have been treated to more entertainment as football watchers. So analytics has been good for us as fans in football. I think in baseball, the reverse has been true. Analytics has shown teams more efficient ways to win games.
Good point.
And those efficient ways to win games, which, before they banned the shift, involved the defensive shift. It involved players not being so worried about striking out and swinging, for the fences, the home run, the strikeout game, things that undeniably have made it more likely that your team wins, has also made the sport less entertaining. Don't steal. Oh, it's dumb to try to steal. Even if you make it 75% of the time, you're losing value for your team. Steals are exciting to watch, and they took those more out of the game. And it's why in recent years, until some of the rule changes, last year kind of took away some of that, analytics was hurting baseball.
Well, you're missing the biggest point of all, is that when people hear the word analytics, it's like the boogeyman. They go,
which is ridiculous.
And
it's ridiculous.
Get
over that.
Mike Florio yesterday tweeting about he talked to an unnamed coach, and the unnamed coach said, well, the only reason – this is a quote, allegedly. This allegedly happened.
From a coach who probably wasn't coaching in the conference championship.
Correct. The only reason analytics exist is so that those nerds can have a job. We just heard Goose Gossage. I mean, look, you're a nerd, too. Yeah, there's arguments for both. It's just information, man. It's just information. If you're no matter what you do for a living, you want as much info as you can get. So you know how to tailor your job the right way to give you the best chance to win, whether you're a salesman or a plumber, a carpenter. You want the best way to do the best job that you can. But they hear that word and they go, ooh.
Yeah, you got to get over yourself if you're afraid of the word analytics, because you use analytics every day in your life.
We all do.
In every decision that you make. Now, some decisions have been very easy. Like, for instance, let's say you just scored a touchdown with 0 time left on the clock, and it's 24-24. You kick the extra point to win, or do you go for 2? Well, of course, you kick the extra point to win because you make that 90-something% of the time, and you only make it for 2, 55, and you only need 1 to win. That's an easy analytics decision. Now, they have taken it to the point where they're just taking the more complex decisions and trying to figure out where the most added value is. But you've always used analytics to make decisions in sports. Hey, when you've got a 3-0 count and the number 8 hitter is up and he is batting 180 and the bases are loaded and it's a tie game, you give him the take sign. That's analytics because, well, it's likely that pitcher is going to throw a ball in one of their next 3 pitches, and you don't want the guy.
I give him 2 take signs,
exactly.
My friend. I give him 2.
That is something that you would call old school baseball. You know what it also is? It's analytics, because analytically, hey, if he walks this guy, we win the game. We force in the winning run. I don't want my guy swinging and popping up at this pitch when he has 3 chances to draw a walk. Why would you let him swing at the first one when the pitcher could trip on something and throw a ball? That's analytics too. We just never called it that back in the day.
Do you have the Ollie Marmol audio, Paulie?
I'll grab it.
Okay, Paulie's got this audio yesterday, and I know we're going back and forth football and baseball, but when you're a head coach, like you said, all you're trying to do, Ben, is just get yourself in a bit better position to win a football game. And had Jefferson caught that ball on that 4th and 3, it's a different ball game.
Reynolds.
Reynolds, I'm sorry. Ball hits you right in the numbers. You make that catch, we're probably not having this discussion. So Xavier Scruggs sat down with St. Louis Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol. Let's play this quickly, and I know we got to take on Woods coming. We can push it too.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. And he asked him about analytics.
We all handle and have to deal with pressure. It fuels me. I don't think I would wake up to
all right
analytics or old school versus new school. It's neither. It's, man, like, you're using a ton of information to help you make decisions that are sustainable over time.
Right.
And when you look at the game, you have to remember you're dealing with humans that have a heartbeat, that experience pressure and anxiety, and some handle the moment a certain way, some don't. So it's great to have this information. You use it,
right?
But at the same time, all you're doing is applying it to what you know and your eyes see and your gut tells you. So when it comes down to it, yeah, I want as much information as possible. I want to be able to process it, figure out what works, what doesn't, what I like using, what I don't like using. But then you let your eyes see the game, and you know the personality of the player, and you know how they can handle certain things in certain situations.
Right.
So, yeah, you're not letting the numbers just run the game, and I think that's a perception that's out there. We're like, oh, the front offices are running the game.
Yeah, that is the perception.
I can tell you right now, I've yet to have one person from our front office come down and tell me what I should have done in a game or how to run the next game, or like, that's not how we operate. I can tell you that in St. Louis.
So interesting stuff from Ollie Marmol. And you know who else used analytics, Ben? Connie Mack. People act like in the 1930s and 1940s, Connie Mack or something would walk through a locker. He had his starting 9. And he would feel them maybe behind the ear, give them a little look into their eyes, tongue depressor on the tongue. All right, kid, go. You got the ball today. It's not. No, they knew that the guy across the way is hitting 367. They knew that he can't hit a curveball. Those are analytics. They've always been in baseball. I understand that you may be overwhelmed with it. I get overwhelmed with it too. I think you can use it too much. But Ollie Marmol saying, give me the info. I'll disseminate it. I will then process it and use it because I can look in Paul Reindl's eyes and know he's ready for the moment, or vice versa. And I think that's important. There's a melding, a marriage between the two.
There's a danger because if part of what makes analytics work is that you kind of have to consistently stick with it.
Sure.
And if you're just kind of randomly choosing to go with the analytics sometimes and then not other times, those numbers will no longer be consistent for you. But I agree with Ollie Marmol. Analytics are a tool to help your judgment make better decisions.
Absolutely.
You're adding to your judgment with those analytical numbers, and it sounds like Cardinals are doing that the right way.
Told me, if Adam came to me and says, I have analytical, statistical data that shows if you guys talk UC Davis basketball, your ratings are going to go up. I would say, all right, well, time to dive into UC Davis basketball. I have numbers that say
even though you don't believe it, though.
Right.
The tough part with analytics is not, hey, if you guys talk Padres, that's a good thing for your ratings. Yeah, that's easy for us to believe. When it's something a little more counter to what our beliefs are, that's when I think people rebel against analytics. Sure. When the numbers tell you something that your gut tells you differently, that's when people don't like analytics.
You gotta have a little of both. I don't know of anybody that if you're gonna just run your team based on numbers and percentages, you don't need a manager. You need a mathematician.
By the way, UC Davis clobbered by UCSD over the weekend and falls out of first place because the Tritons now in first place in the Big West.
There you go.
Ratings on the rise.
Ratings right on the rise. Right there.
Yeah, all right, let's push take on Woods back a little bit. If you called in, just stand by. Call in later. We got Don't Do This coming up next.
Wait, stand by or call in later?
Stand by to call in later.
Okay.
Stand by to call in later.
Sorry about that, guys.
Stand by. Don't Do This is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Let's check traffic.
5% more.
My gut tells me. My gut says 5% is better.
I've always gone with the 8% mortgage.
All right, we'll jump right in. Start with the build-up to the Super Bowl. And, it's distraction time. No game for 2 weeks. You try to minimize the outside noise and the distractions leading up to the Super Bowl. It's impossible with the media commitments and everything that goes into it. The last thing you want, though, is internal distractions. You have so many external ones. The internal ones is what gets you. And the Chiefs are dealing with one right now involving receiver Kadarius Toney.
This was wild.
So Toney was not at the game, the AFC Championship game. He was, according to the team, both injured, dealing with hip and ankle injuries, and his significant other, I don't know if they're married, but they had a baby on Saturday. So a couple of reasons why he wasn't at the game. But he was listed on the injury report with hip and ankle injuries. And I think it was on the Sunday of the game. He had an Instagram live post where he was like
pissed,
very angry with profanity. I'm not hurt, none of that. He rebelled at the Chiefs' suggestion that he was injured.
Pretty big accusation to level.
Well, I mean, and the NFL takes their injury reports seriously.
They have to.
Usually it's the other way around, though, where you're hiding injuries from a team that you're not reporting. This is you're reporting an injury that doesn't exist. They could not play Toney. There's no reason. It's not you have to play him if he's healthy.
Yeah, you could have left him off the injury report, brought him along, and just not put him in the game.
Andy Reid responded to those, accusations by Toney of made-up injuries yesterday.
Obviously he's been on the injury report, so I mean, I got that part as that's not made up by any means, but he's been working through some things, and he'll be back out there.
Yeah, they say he'll be there practice on Thursday, which is a little awkward to rejoin. Now, I don't know what really is going on behind the scenes, but in my guesstimate would be Kadarius Toney's had tough year. Some drops. He had remember when he lined up off sides and he cost them the great play, the lateral from Travis Kelce.
His new bit is deflecting balls into the opposition's hands. He's done that a couple times in a row.
It might have just been for the best that he wasn't there for the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's a very nice thing for the Chiefs to say, well, he's hurt and he just had a new kid, so he's not there. It's not, we don't trust him, we can't play him, we'd rather have him not be here, so that's why he's not here. I think the Chiefs are just trying not to embarrass him a little bit.
I think that Patrick Mahomes one is like, don't have him. I do not want him here.
Don't even have him an option.
We don't want
him in uniform. Yeah. We don't want you to even think about putting him in the game.
Better not see him on the sideline.
Better not to have him here. Yeah. And they didn't want to embarrass him. You put him on the injury report. It's fine. He's been there before. He's hurt. He's not here. That's what it feels like to me. I don't know why Toney would argue. If I wasn't at a game and the team wanted to say I was hurt, I'd be fine with that. It's a good cover story than anything else.
I don't want to play him. Yeah, no doubt. He's the one that looks like the a-hole here.
Exactly.
Former NBA point guard Rajon Rondo arrested over the weekend. Got pulled over, a traffic violation. State trooper smelled marijuana cigarette on him, Ben. And then they searched his car, found gun and drug paraphernalia. So Rondo was taken to jail in Jackson County, Indiana. He posted bond. Now, he was not allowed to possess that firearm. He has a no-contact order against him. He's got an emergency protective order filed by a woman in 2022. So he's in a little bit of hot water, apparently threatened her with a gun. She said she feared for the safety of her children, that he had a history of volatile, erratic, and explosive behavior. So he's in a little bit of hot water. We'll see how that shakes out. He's done, though. He's not playing basketball.
Yeah, no, he is. He's retired. Yeah. He's out of the game. Finally, a little do this for a Tuesday.
DD mega do.
This is a little bit visual. If you're on the YouTube stream, Paulie can play the video. This comes from the Holy Cross Boston University basketball game last night. And so if you're seeing the YouTube stream, you're seeing the Holy Cross water polo team, while Boston University, one of their players was at the free throw line. You know how the student section tries to distract usually? They ran out in all of their Speedos. Like they must have been just like finishing practice or something, dancing around behind the scenes. I thought it was pretty clever and pretty funny. They ran in, they ran out, all of them wearing nothing but Speedos. This is not a giant arena. This is a fairly smaller
my
gym.
God. He made the free throw.
He made both of the free throws, though. So good for the shooter from Boston University, who Ethan Okwusa, who ignored the distraction of 8 very scantily clad college students and nailed both of the free throws at the line, despite one of the more inspired distractions of the game. However, Holy Cross did rally to win the game 65-63. So if they want to think their swim team antics or their water polo team antics had something to do with it, good for them.
You see the bodies on those guys?
I was always very jealous of the water polo players.
It's unbelievable. They have to tread water that whole time.
I told you, I did water polo for a semester in college.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember.
Like
I don't remember
intramural.
that at all.
Yeah, intramural, like water polo PE class.
Exhausting, isn't it?
It was the hardest sport I have ever done.
And so I understand, too, that it's a bit violent and rough a little bit out there in the water.
Very much.
And so the class was filled. I mean, there were some regular students, but there was a lot of the guys who weren't good enough to be like on the water polo team, but probably played in high school and just wanted to do it for fun. So there were some well-built guys, and they'd like wear Speedos. I just wear the normal like swim trunks. I'm not wearing a Speedo. No chance. So I just wore the normal, like board short trunks.
That's out there in his jams.
I'm not wearing a Speedo. No chance I'm wearing a Speedo in public. Ever.
Question.
Ever.
When you signed up for the class, I would get the feeling of like, yeah, I'll sign up for water. I'll get some exercise.
I was told really good exercise.
And
Like,
then-
okay, that could be fun.
But then,
I mean, it's a good swimmer.
on
at
the
least.
walk back to the car after signing my name on the dotted line, I would have gone, oh no, do I have to wear a Speedo?
I never really thought about it. It's just there's no chance, and no one ever made me. I just wore the regular.
You didn't wear
shorts.
the requisite
No,
Speedo.
I did not wear. It was no one said I had to, so I didn't.
Have you
do it.
guys ever worn a Speedo?
I've
Have you
never
ever even
worn.
tried one
I've
on?
never even tried a Speedo on.
No.
I don't know that you would find a more disgusting picture than the three of us in Speedos. I really, because you have to like.
It's so common, like in Europe, people at the beach. All the guys, that's all they wear is Speedos.
Why?
You'd look weird if
what
you were
is
in
the
trunks.
purpose of a Speedo? Aerodynamics? You're laying
I have
out
no
at the beach.
idea.
Oh, tan line.
Tan
maybe?
line, I guess.
Yeah,
I
that's the only
wouldn't.
thing I can think of.
I'm telling you, we do a lot of bets. I wouldn't do that bet for anything. For anything.
And the weird thing is, I mean, I guess it's kind of a modesty issue, but my lower half is definitely my better half. So like showing off my legs and stuff isn't really the problem. Not what I meant. But.
When we did our live stream out at Fantasy Camp, this dude had his shorts basically hiked up as high. Your creamy, thick thighs were well
I've just been working out more in my thigh. They've just been getting more muscular, which causes the shorts to ride up a little bit more.
Miley in the chat says, I like a man in a Speedo. No, you don't. You absolutely don't. There's no way you like a man.
You like a college water polo player in a Speedo. But we're not college water polo players.
Jeff says they're super comfy. I wear them when I swim.
They don't look super comfy.
Bro, I couldn't.
Says I was opposed for so long and then I tried it. I guess you can't knock it if you haven't tried it.
Oh, I'll absolutely
But I also
knock it.
don't
I'll
really
knock it
swim.
and knock it. Yeah, I don't swim. If you're swimming laps in the pool, like at the Y
I can
for
see
exercise,
it
but
being good. But like the only time I get in the pool is like in Vegas at the hotel, and I'm just kind of sitting there sipping a drink. I don't need to be in a Speedo for that.
I will give you $1,000. I will give you $1,000 cash if the next time you go to Vegas,
shoot, that could be for a couple nights.
You rock, and I mean nothing but a Speedo, your slides, and sit by the pool. And I need like 50 minutes of video so that I know you didn't change it immediately. It's not worth it. You have to groom.
Right. You don't want
no
loose hairs
because that's what you see in Europe. You see, you're like, hey, what are you hiding down there? You got a wig, a merkin? Like it's absolutely disgusting, man.
You can see kind of the outline of things in a Speedo too.
Absolutely, man.
There's not a lot left to the imagination.
Absolutely, it's a division sign. That's exactly right. So gross. If you're a Speedo wearer out there, I guess I understand, but I really
And
don't.
you see them occasionally, like on the beach here, but when a guy wears them here, that's a statement. If you wear a Speedo
are
to the beach.
fearless, dude. Yeah, plum smuggler. Oh, God, it hurts. Oh, yeah, that's no good. That is no good. Miley, I don't believe you for a second that you like a man in a Speedo. I really don't believe. I don't believe it. I've never. Michael Phelps doesn't look good in. No one looks good in them, I don't think.
Megan says, make it 1,500 and I'll do it.
It'd be the best money I ever spent in my life. You just pull poor Paulie. How bad would you be? The walk from your room down to the pool, the robe,
chilling in the elevator.
Open robe, though. You got to be open robe.
Open robe.
Short open robe all the way down in the elevator through the casino.
I wonder how much we can raise to get this. It ain't worth it. It's not worth it, bro. I'm telling you. It'd have to be $20,000 for me to do it. 20,000.
And that is don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
I love so much that you wore your jams in the pool instead of your Speedo. I'm not wearing this thing.
not wearing that thing.
I'll just wear my normal. Yes, I have a rash guard on. Don't worry about it.
Did you play basketball in jeans or sweatpants, too? You're like, I'm not wearing shorts.
That is so good.
Oh, had a trade that went down in baseball last night, as Wood said. Didn't really involve teams that we're that interested in, but something was happening. We can get into the move and the prospects to watch at spring training, including some Padres making the list of former GM Jim Bowden.
Benny, I got an interesting thought on this. Did the Polanco move we're about to talk about, did that basically set the market for a Jake Cronenworth?
Interesting.
You know?
We'll get into that trade coming up next year with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. There's a little postscript to my water polo story. I did learn eventually why water polo players wear their Speedos, and it's not simply to show off their
plums,
their perfect bodies.
Oh.
Water polo is an incredibly, like, under the water, you're constantly like kicking and pushing and grabbing and fighting, like a basketball player fighting for position in the key, except you're also doing it while treading water. You push guys down like under the water a lot. It's very
violent.
It's a very violent physical sport that I did not totally realize how physical it was. And the pool, the school pool was only about a block from my dorm. So I just walk, great weather, Southern California, flip-flops, bathing suit,
Your board
T-shirt,
shorts,
and my towel, and I'd just go, and then I'd walk back and change. I didn't bring, like, all my clothes every time. So late in the semester, we had a big, we're matches, and I'm the big guy, so I'm in the middle there, and I'm battling with the guy, and he's pushing, and he absolutely, completely rips my pants, like, to the point where I have to now hold them on, or they are going to fall off because
my
they've
goodness,
completely like ripped all the way down the side.
I just drooled, by the way.
So it's right at the end. So I get out and I put my towel on, but I have to hold my pants from falling off the entire time until I can get back to the dorm to change because, well, that's why you wear Speedos and water polo. Less fabric to grab onto. It's actually a competitive advantage to have less material there for other guys to rip at and fight at and pull on.
Should do it nude.
It really would be the best way.
But then they could.
That's true. There'd be other things to grab
right,
at. So,
which is not good. It's not what you want in the
So there's my water polo story.
Well, Paulie made a good point as well about our bet. I said, I'll give you $1,000 if you go to Vegas. He goes, you know what? I would.
If I had to
do it, gun to your head, Vegas would be the place because you see the dregs of the earth in Vegas. You can be anybody you want in Las Vegas.
No one bats an eye at anything in Vegas.
Anything. You're like, oh, there's Elvis with his wiener hanging out. He's walking down the strip.
If you told me, hey, we're going to go down and film a video of you in a Speedo down in PB, you're going to walk up and down Garnett.
We're going to have lunch at Shore Club.
Bro, it's a $20,000 is my
minimum.
fee.
That's exactly right.
Like, minimum.
That's exactly right.
Not a chance. But Vegas, you're like, already seen it all.
I can be anybody I want in Las Vegas. Anybody I want. I love that.
So I'm interested to see how Woods has an idea of potentially tying a trade that went down yesterday that had nothing to do with the Padres. And let's make it have to do with the Padres just a little bit. We'll get to that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Soapy Joe's. Got a collision now on southbound 15 near Old Highway 395. Looks like lanes may be partially blocked. Still clearing an accident from the Miramar Road off-ramp. Northbound 805. Those vehicles are over to the right shoulder. Chief Bubble Officer Tony Gwynn Jr. announces Soapy Joe's newest location is now open on Main Street off the 805 in Chula Vista. Visit their new location and join the Wash Club to get unlimited washes. Chula Vista Main Street is now open. Soapy Joe's is good, clean fun. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So the Minnesota Twins pulled off a deal yesterday that did not involve outfielder Max Kepler, who we have speculated as a possible trade target for the Padres, needing outfield help. But their other big piece that they've been potentially looking to move this offseason, second baseman Jorge Polanco, did go to the Seattle Mariners in a 4-for-1 exchange, with the Twins receiving a couple of major league players, including pitcher Anthony DeSclafani, and then some minor leaguers, including their number 5 prospect.
I got number 3 prospect.
Number 3, Gabriel Gonzalez, as well as reliever Justin Topa in that deal as well. Cash considerations. The deal was announced last night. Obviously, Seattle getting a solid player in Polanco, who I believe is going into the last year of his contract. They exercised a $10.5 million option, so they're getting something for him before he hits free agency. The Mariners trying to reload and still compete there in the AL West. The Twins, they're in the Central. They feel like you can always compete in the Central, and they're trying to get younger and, address other needs with this trade.
It's rare that when you see a trade come down, it's usually what's our natural inclination? Go, ooh, Team X got fleeced, right? I looked at this trade yesterday and I went, yeah, it's good. It's good for both teams. I think it is. I think Seattle's in kind of a win now mode, and as are the Twins, Ben. They want to win as well. But they got, Topa's going to be great. I mean, he's a back of the bullpen type guy. 2.61 ERA last year, 61 Ks in 69 innings. He's nasty. He's got nasty stuff. He's going to help the Twins tremendously. DeSclafani, I feel bad for that guy, man. He's just kind of bounced around over and over, but he'll be able to compete for a rotation spot. Gabriel Gonzalez, as we mentioned, as you said, number 5 prospect. I had number 3 prospect, number 79 overall. They're getting help in their minor leagues. And Darren Bowen was the other throw in. He's going to just give you some depth. But it got me thinking. I looked at the numbers between Jorge Polanco and Jake Cronenworth. Polanco is a 30-year-old infielder with 1 All-Star appearance. Jake Cronenworth, 30-year-old infielder with 2 All-Star appearances. Polanco had about 100 points higher in OPS in a lot fewer at-bats than Jake did last year. Hit only 4 more home runs. Hit 30 points higher in batting average. And I thought, all right, so does that set the market for decent average second baseman?
No,
it does not.
Well, I mean, the biggest, in this day and age, the production is not the biggest issue. It's the contract. And, Seattle is not worried. It's not a long-term deal.
Nope.
It's 1 year, $10 million. With Jake, it's 7 years. It's $70 million.
Jake goes through, he'll make $12 million a year to the end of the 2030 season. Now, $12 million a year, Ben, that's not.
Now, if Jake comes back and has a good season, it changes the equation.
It changes everything.
But right now, Jake is, he's like radioactive at this point. I think that contract for other teams.
It's not that
not for us,
bad.
not for the Padres necessarily, but
everyone's acting like he's going to be making Hosmer money.
But I just don't think there's any market for it right now.
Well, but knowing the Padres have looked to, and I don't want him gone, but knowing the Padres have looked to trade him, you see what another team is able to get, and I don't think you could get the same haul. I don't, but I do think you could get something.
I was looking to see. Okay, so the Twins are obviously dealing. So could Max Kepler be next? Did this open up a hole at second base? I don't know. What's their plan to replace Polanco? Is Ha-Seong Kim someone they might target? I don't know if they're adding someone, but that's a smaller salary than Polanco was making.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, Kepler is someone the Padres could use, and then maybe a pitcher as well. Didn't see a lot of starting pitchers that I thought that they would be making available, though. They're kind of in need still as well, so they're not in a position to deal pitching at least, which leaves just, and I wouldn't do a Kepler for Kim trade.
No,
I feel like that would be a big loss for the Padres. You're getting basically a less valuable player. You're getting someone who has injury concerns more than Kim did. That's just not valuable enough. So even if they were looking for a second baseman, not a deal I would pursue.
Yep.
So
I just you wonder, and I don't know how many teams are in the market and think that they look at a guy like Crony and say, no, we can fix him. We can fix him. He's certainly valuable in the infield, can play every position, I would imagine, if called upon. And you look at it, the highest his deals ever was $12 million a year. That's it. Which is not nothing, but it's not Eric Hosmer number.
No, I think it's the 7 years though.
It's the being locked in till 2030.
That's the issue. And again, Jake could rebound quickly with that value with a decent season, but right now, I just can't see another team wanting to give up anything of value. At least, if
you'd be the one throwing in a Justin Topa, you know what I mean, to get rid of that deal, which you don't want to do necessarily. But you could look at it and go, okay, well, this is the. And I don't even want to call them comparable players. I think Polanco's probably a better player right now. He had a better season last year, and he's been doing it a lot longer. But again, if teams are willing to wheel and deal, get out from under things,
I think you just explained it well, though. The reason I think Jake will not be traded anytime soon is that he's too valuable for the Padres to add prospects just to get rid of.
Correct.
But he's not valuable enough for anyone to take on or give up anything for because of that contract, which means there's really no way for the Padres and another team without going through a lot of mental gymnastics to come up with any reasonable Jake Cronenworth trade at this point.
Yeah. I like I said, I think he's going to be here. I do too. My gut tells me right now he's probably your starting first baseman again.
At this moment, he most definitely is.
Definitely is today. for sure.
All right. Yesterday, Jim Bowden, the former GM, who now works for The Athletic, came out with his list of the 40 young prospects he's most excited to see during spring training. Had 3 Padres on the list. Ethan Salas, no surprise there. Everyone's excited to see the development of one of the top youngest prospects in baseball at 17 years old. He put Dylan Lesko on his list, which is also not surprising. He didn't get a major league camp invitation from the Padres, but his stuff is electric, and I know that scouts are really excited about it. The one that surprised me is he put Michael King on his list, and I never really considered King to be a prospect.
Right.
He's been in the big leagues for the better part of up and down, obviously, but for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
He's 28 years old, and I'd say he's past the stage of prospect.
I think he probably thinks the same thing. So
He saw that and goes, what the hell?
What am I doing on this list?
Big things for me.
I do like the fact that, a guy like Bowden is excited about Michael King and wants to see what he can do with the San Diego Padres. I am also excited to see Michael King, maybe more excited than anyone else when we go to spring training next month to see in person, only because I've seen the other guys, for the most part that are on the team up close, and he's one that is intriguing and new things are fun in spring training. So I'm definitely excited to see him. I'm surprised he'd land on a list of prospects. Felt like that day had passed a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's 5 other Padres prospects that
Snelling, I'm really excited to see for sure.
Yeah, Marcy, and I mean, there's a ton. Is it
Jackson Merrill?
Yeah, Jackson
not on
Merrill,
the list there.
not on the list. That's interesting. Well, I mean, there's 30 teams. He had to do 40 guys, so that did feel a little bit odd. He says about Dylan Lesko, I want to see how the Padres are working with him on his delivery to achieve more consistent release point, which should reduce the walks. He has raw stuff. In Salas, considered the best catching prospect in baseball, the best overall prospect in the Padres system. He's only 17 years old. He did not disappoint in his first pro season, making it all the way to Double-A. Everyone in the sport wants to see him this spring. He is one of the guys, too. We're going to be out there in a few weeks. Yeah, man. He's one of those guys I can't wait to post up and just watch him work. It is that position.
He's like Fernando Tatis Jr. in that sense.
And you want to just go watch him.
Like when they brought Fernando over from Chicago, they invited him out to Petco Park for a game, and I just happened to be down there on the field for batting practice. And when he walked in, everyone just stopped.
Yeah.
And he was a kid. He was 17.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can tell. He's gonna fill that uniform out.
Yeah.
He's got it.
First
I don't
time-
know what it is, but he's got it. And when we were out at fantasy camp 2 weeks ago, every time Ethan Salas walked down the hallway, you just kind of stopped. You're like, wow.
I remember the first time we ever interviewed Fernando Tatis Jr. You just had that there was that aura, about him. Like, oh, this is not too big for you at all. Like you're going to be just fine. I mean, I know he grew up around the game and in ballparks and stuff, but there's certain guys you see and they're like wide-eyed. He was not. He was like, all right, just baseball.
Now, we didn't get to see Salas in a game in person, but we saw him on one of the backfields, didn't we, last year when we went?
I think so, yeah. Well, I saw him walking from the backfield. I didn't actually go see him
catching at all. I'd like to see him up close.
Salas?
Yeah. In a bullpen
Was he
session.
here last spring?
He was there.
Yeah, he was there last spring.
Yeah, I remember him walking and signing autographs.
He got
for
into
kids.
a couple of the games.
He did.
Later in spring training in the big league
Got
club.
a couple knocks, too.
Yeah, that's right.
But I remember watching him at fantasy camp in that drill that will be in my mind forever. Just an incredible talent. So excited about the future for him.
So, we will definitely be doing a little prospect watching, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you're not also excited about the major league team trying to win, but this is definitely feels like a newer direction for the San Diego Padres, a blending of the old and new. And hopefully they can make it work for them like the Texas Rangers made it work for them last season.
We'll look forward to that, Greg.
All right, we still have 2 hours to go. If you missed it, we pushed back Take on Wood. So we'll get to that coming up here at maybe 8:10.
Yeah.
When we come back, reset and then do it like an hour later. So if you want to get online early in the next couple of minutes, you can hold on at 833-288-0973. Still have our musical trivia game, chance to qualify for the Getaway to Las Vegas, concert tickets, and more at the Westgate. 833-288-0973. Have that coming up. We had A.J. Cassavell writing yesterday about the Padres pitching staff. How do they fill it out? We talked a little bit this morning about Michael Lorenzen and, the free agent possibility that exists there. What about the in-house options? How do you think it's going to shake out coming up in spring training beyond the first 3 starters? We'll talk about that coming up as well. 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. Glad to have you with us on a Tuesday morning. Bennett Woods, not wearing Speedos at the moment on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Appreciate you being here with us. Looks like another beautiful, beautiful day here in San Diego. As we mentioned in the open, in case you missed it, the rains are coming. Please prepare yourselves as best you can. Don't want to get caught again. It's, they're talking 3 inches on the coast, I think Benny said. Just could be devastating again. So make sure you take care of yourself. Get your ducks in a row.
Sandbags.
I
don't really know what I do with sandbags,
either.
But I know that they're helpful when it's going to rain.
Yeah, you make little forts and stuff. We used to make dams in creeks when we were little kids.
Did you?
Oh yeah, dude, it was the best. There was a creek I call it crick because I'm from Texas, but we used to go down to the crick, and when we weren't fishing for crawdads,
and that's like a creek,
yeah,
but in Texas.
And we would make dams. And it was
like
so
a
fun.
Beaver.
Yeah, like a beaver. We would put sticks and rocks down and you
To
just
stop the flow of water and create a little lake.
Yeah, just make a little dam. It was so cool. Things that you remember.
Disturb the natural habitat of all the critters in the creek.
That's exactly right. Probably shouldn't have done it.
Probably not.
But we did it. So yeah, listen, please take care of yourselves out there and prepare. Check on your elderly neighbors, people that need a little bit of extra help, certainly. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor here as well. I got a tweet yesterday from, there's like 3 Dodger fans in the world that I can handle, and he's one of them. I love this guy. I don't know why, but he knows that I break balls, and he gets it. He realizes his team is ridiculous. And we go back and forth on Twitter a lot. He's a really funny dude. Dodgers meme team, I think is his name. He cracks me up. And he tweeted us yesterday, hey, you guys going to Radio Row? And I go, no, F no, never again. I remember when we started here at 97.3 The Fan, I remember going to Adam. And I don't remember where the Super Bowl was that year, our first year here. But I said, hey, any plans to send us? And he's like, no. And I was like, pfft. And I was like kind of pissy about it. And I was like, oh, okay, this is how it's going to be. There's no way that I will ever go to Radio Row again. I couldn't stand it when I went. It is completely useless for us. We don't even have an NFL team in here. It's like burning money. Then I saw where they're putting the media up, and I went, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. They're all the media is staying at the Luxor.
Miami would have been the first year.
Yeah,
that we were here.
Well, we would have had fun in Miami, but
where
you're talking about
when you did go to Radio Row? Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's right.
You're talking about a $5,000 trip easily. Now it's Vegas. Adam would have made us drive in one car. The Luxor is the type of hotel that if you let Adam book your hotel, he would put you in the Luxor. That's what a dump it is. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how.
I remember when it was the eighth wonder of the world when it first opened. But,
I couldn't
seen better days.
I couldn't believe how bad it was.
Not the worst place actually to stay for this Super Bowl though. That honor likely goes across the street to the Tropicana, which they are only keeping open for another few weeks so they can stuff people in for Super Bowl week and March Madness, and then they are demolishing the place to make way for the A's stadium. So if you want to talk about no reason, like the last days of Qualcomm Stadium, remember how bad things got? I can only imagine that every piece of maintenance that they can not do for the Tropicana for the last couple of years is no reason to put any money in this place. It's hitting the wrecking ball here in a few months. So that's got to be the worst place to stay during Super Bowl week now.
I was thinking about it yesterday, and I said if he wanted us to go out and cover the Super Bowl and go to Radio Row, I think I'd rather commute. Just go out, drive out there every day. It was so
Just leave at 1 in the
bad.
morning.
Yeah, leave at 1 in the morning.
The other corner ain't that great either with the Excalibur there as well. Circus is awful in the chat. Rio is the worst. We have a lot of Vegas hotel haters in our chat right now.
The hoteliers are in the chat right now.
I remember, my dad once had to stay at the Imperial Palace.
Oh, the IP. Holy
pretty bad.
I think I've stayed there.
They've updated now. It's now the Link, I believe, and they've done some refreshing of it. But when it used to be the Imperial Palace was not good.
Everybody always says, well, it's Vegas. How often are you in your room? I'm like, I'm in my room a lot because I usually burn through my money in the first day, and I end up chilling in the room.
I'm not in my room a lot, but I still like a nice room.
Of course.
I don't want the crappy $39 a night room.
The Luxor, I still remember, itching, like just itchy and.
Is it real or is it psychosomatic?
I don't know. I'm itching now. Thinking about it. Oh God!
And I'm itching.
Now I'm itching. Thinking about the luxury.
Bed bugs in our studio now.
It was a dump. It was. I walked in and I go. We were there for a bachelor party, and I was like, oh.
Now
no.
everyone wants to know what's the best hotel on the Strip.
The best I've ever stayed. The Venetian I was just at, and it was amazing. It was lovely.
The Wynn was really nice. I stayed just like one night at the Wynn.
The Cosmo was ungodly.
Bellagio was obviously really, really nice.
Cosmo was incredible.
Cosmo's very modern and updated and very cool.
Loved it.
I want to stay at Cosmo. It's on our list. We stayed at Aria. We loved it.
Yeah.
We stayed at Nomad, which is a boutique hotel within
the Park
hotel.
MGM, and I stayed at the Park MGM, and
it
it was okay too. I mean, for not as the high end as the other ones, it was definitely
Nomad
solid.
Was amazing.
The one that surprised me the most was Monte Carlo. It was fantastic. And it was dirt cheap. And I was like, it's a nice building. It's down there by all the Bellagio and everything. Had a great time there. Look, there's a handful where you can't go wrong. You're gonna.
That's
be fine.
now the Park MGM.
Is that what it is? Okay.
That was the Monte Carlo, but they've updated it to
Wynn
the Park
and Encore
MGM.
are very nice.
Yeah. It's
every time I walk through, I see like they have all the convention people always staying there.
Well, it's like they always say you're never in your room, and for me, I can only do a little bit of small doses here and there. I need to go back and recharge the batteries.
I could walk up and down the Strip all day long.
People asking about Circa. Old. They've done a lot of advertising. So that's downtown. That's
I've never stayed there.
Strip. I stayed at the Golden Nugget once, and I had a bad experience, as that was the night the room above us left the bathtub on, and we ended up the water was dripping on us like in the middle of the night, and I woke up and
where was it?
The Golden Nugget downtown. Not my best experience. Now, it's not their fault that the person above us had it was during COVID too. We were on a road trip getting home, and that was a bad night.
Fritz wants to know if we ever stayed at the Bunny Ranch. No, I have not stayed at the Bunny Ranch, and I think the missus would probably frown. Yeah, me and the guys are heading to Vegas. We're staying at the Bunny Ranch like Lamar Odom did for a month. No, we're good. We're going to...
Wasn't he in like a coma?
He was. He went really hard at the Bunny Ranch, really hard. But no, we will not be at... we will not be doing Super Bowl coverage for you guys.
The new places I haven't been to, Resorts World and the Fontainebleau, are both open now.
Just opened.
Haven't been to either one of those.
Green
yet.
Valley Ranch is far, but it's beautiful, stunning place. But it's way out in the middle of nowhere.
I stayed at Green Valley Ranch once, the off strip.
Yeah,
they have a lot of those off, like Sam's Town, and never been to some of those off strip places, but.
Cheater wants to know what the Bunny Ranch is. It's a brothel.
Not in. So actually, prostitution is not legal in Clark County, which is where Las Vegas is.
All right, let's listen to the foremost authority on prostitution in Nevada. Ben, if you would,
it is legal and regulated in the outlying county of Pahrump, Nevada, which I believe is west of Las Vegas. I've never been to Pahrump County myself, but that's where you'll find. Some of those establishments like the Bunny Ranch and the Chicken Ranch and other ranches. I don't know why they call them ranches. They don't do any ranching as far as I know.
You say that it's illegal there, but they're everywhere.
It is not legal though. Now, I don't believe it's as strongly enforced as maybe some other jurisdictions around the country. But when you get one of those flyers that Paulie likes to bring back for me when he goes, the little that they hand out,
the trading cards.
Trading cards. You still have yours?
Those are not for legal services.
You still have yours?
I believe still have it in my wallet.
It's my favorite thing. Every time I go to Vegas, I have to grab a stack of booby cards.
Somewhere in the bottom here.
Sorry, we got nothing but time.
Do I have it?
You better.
I did a wallet clean out at some point. It may not have made the cut, but I know Paulie will go again soon, so I will get some new ones. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
He's got them at home in a like that you put your baseball cards in
the
sleeves.
A binder.
Still waiting to get my Delilah card. Signed by the athlete herself.
By the athlete herself. Well, we can probably make that happen here in a few weeks, Ben. So, and most definitely will.
All right, do we have a contestant on the line for Take on Woods?
Maybe.
Maybe is good enough for me. Let's play our game. Daniel, are you calling for Take on Woods?
Yes, sir.
Oh, fantastic, Paulie. We are saved by
Good.
Daniel.
We're good.
Daniel, if you can beat Woods in our 5-question musical trivia challenge, or even tie him, we will send you to the great land of Las Vegas, the Westgate, near the Strip, not on the Strip, but very close. The Las Vegas Resort and Casino. They've updated $70 million in upgrades, room renovations. Plus, in addition to your 2-night stay, we'll hook you up with tickets to Tom Kiefer and LA Guns performing on April 11th at their International Theater. Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions, discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. All right, Daniel, let's get to the categories today. Your choices are Up in the Air, 5 song titles, musical artists that include air. The mystery category, can't give you much more there, but it's always fun. And our new category, Make Believe. Those are 5 different song titles that include the word make. Up in the Air, the mystery category, or Make Believe. Daniel?
Let's do Up in the Air.
Up in the Air. All right, 5 questions. They're either song titles or musical artists. You'll find the word air in each of the answers. Paulie's going to have to cue up our 2-second song. That's where we'll start. You need to give me the title of the song and the artist on that one. Then we'll go on from there. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We can come back to it if there's time left at the end of the 60 seconds. Daniel, you know how it works, right? You ready to play?
Do it.
Paulie, you fast-forwarded enough to get our song ready? All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Category is Up in the Air. Your time begins when Paul plays our music. Good luck, Daniel. Let's take on Woods. Phil Collins made the drum break near the end of the song a signature moment in which debut solo single?
In the Air Tonight.
Correct. The clean radio version of which Steve Miller Band hit uses the line funky kicks going down in the city instead of a bleepable word. In West Philadelphia, Born and Raised is the first line of which TV theme song by DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Correct. Grace Slick was a vocalist for which psychedelic San Francisco rock band from the late 1960s?
Jefferson Airplane.
Correct. Let's go back to our 2-second song.
Oh, man. That Air Supply. That song. Making Love Out of Nothing at All.
Oh, no. The clean... Oh, you got Air Supply, but it was all out of love. I'm so lost without you. But you did get Air Supply. You got In the Air Tonight, though, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Jefferson Airplane for a score of 3. Jet Airliner was the Steve Miller Band song. So 3 is the score for Daniel. Woods does not get the category. He returns to the studio to take his shot. All right, Daniel's score is locked in. See if you can defend your title here today. 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Daniel.
Even the Nights Are Better by Air Supply?
Incorrect. Phil Collins made the drum break near the end of the song.
In the Air Tonight.
Correct. The clean radio version of which Steve Miller Band hit uses the line funky kicks going down in the city instead of a bleepable word.
Jet Airliner.
Correct. In West Philadelphia, Born and Raised is the first line of which TV...
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Correct. Grace Slick was a vocalist for which
Jefferson Airplane.
Oh, and that's 4, and he needed all 4 of them to win 4-3. Jet Airliner, the difference. Neither of you
Air
got
Supply.
All Out of Love by Air Supply.
What did I say it was?
You said it
Even
was
the Nights
even
Are
the
Better?
Yeah, something like that.
Air Supply, and the category was Up in
Air.
the Air. Yeah, air in all the answers.
Very good. Very good
I'm
question.
surprised you didn't get All Out of Love, though. It was crescendoing to I'm all out of love.
I just jumped the gun then.
I'm so lost without you. It's a good one.
That is a really good one.
All right, Daniel, thanks for playing. Close. No cigar today. No trip to Las Vegas after our big discussion of trips to Las Vegas.
Yep.
All
Sorry
right,
about it.
let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back. Aztecs have a big game tonight.
Huge game
against Colorado State. Like the biggest maybe of the season so far. I'll explain why when we come back after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
I'm crying right now. Our buddy Lalo just tweets to Ben and Woods. At Ben and Woods, thanks a million. Was really looking forward to next week in Vegas. He posts his itinerary. He'll be staying at the Luxor for 5 days.
Oh, no.
Maybe it's changed. I would imagine, Lalo, they've cleaned it up a little bit.
It's still a pyramid, which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like, walls that are kind of diagonal as opposed to straight, you're definitely getting that. Unless they put you in the secondary building, which then totally defeats the purpose of being at the Luxor.
Also, Lalo, if you like scabies, then this is your favorite place. You're going to love it. Crabs.
Not to be confused with Scraby. That's
Right.
totally different.
Totally different.
We like Scraby. We don't like scabies.
Correct.
We like Boomer and Valenti.
Do we?
They,
Do we
they
like
appear
Boomer and
Yes, we
Valenti?
do.
You're
every
so
Friday
full
night
of S.
at 7 p.m.
Have you
I've
ever
heard either of
listened to
them.
Boomer and Valenti?
I
once?
absolutely
Liar.
have.
Liar.
I have not listened to the entire hour, but
If
I've
you
been in the
have,
car. It's been on.
You are so full of it.
I have enjoyed the moments that I have listened to Boomer and Valenti. It is presented nationally by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos, brought to you by those who drink it, and by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. Can I So I think words are important and should be chosen carefully.
Same.
But at the same time, can we get over the fact that sometimes in sports we call something a must-win game when it's not?
Sure.
Because there's only, one must-win game at the end of every season. And if you're eliminated or not, then it's a must-win game. But in the case of college basketball this season for the Aztecs and the Colorado State Rams tonight, this feels like a must-win game. Now, it's not. You could always lose this one and then win every game the rest of the way and still win the conference. But to maintain yourself in a reasonable position to win the Mountain West this year, both teams kind of need this one tonight. Colorado State needs it badly. They're 3-4 already in the Mountain West. Now, it's all 4 road losses. They're 3-0 at home, so they have not lost a home game. The Aztecs, they're only 1-2 on the road, and as we've been talking about, they need to pick up 1 or 2 of these road games if they want to have a chance to win the conference regular season title. And it seems like Colorado State right for the picking. They lost twice last week at Nevada and at Wyoming. Close games, but, they're a team that's struggling right now. And the Aztecs have had an entire week off to get ready for this one. Colorado State has played twice since the last time San Diego State took the floor. If you're ever going to go and steal one, this feels like one that is at least doable. And when you have one like that, you got to get the one like that because they're going to be tougher games on the road that the Aztecs have to play. This is the start of a stretch of 7 in a row that are pretty challenging. Utah State, who's in first place, comes to Viejas Arena on Saturday. And then you've got more, ranked teams. You got Colorado State and Utah State. Again, you have to go to Air Force. While they're not one of the better teams, it's still high altitude and always tough travel to go and play a team like that. You've got Nevada again on the road, which is a tough place to play. So it feels like you want to get off to a good start of the stretch here. You don't want to fall 2 games out of first place. So for the Aztecs, it's a pretty must-win game. For Colorado State, it's a very must-win game, which makes it kind of an exciting Tuesday night battle at Moby Arena in Fort Collins tonight, and one I'll definitely be interested to see how the Aztecs kind of respond from getting a few days off. I always like, Brian Dutcher will take this extra time, this bye that he had, and it's the only time really you get to work on your own team. Most of the time in college basketball, you're playing a game on Wednesday, and then you're playing it on Saturday. So all you can do is, all right, here's what the next team does. Here's their offense. Here's how we counter it on defense. Here's their defense. Here's how we counter on offense. It's constantly just scouting, and that's all you do. When you have a bye and you have a couple days to practice, you can look at your own team and you go, all right, here's what's been working for us. Here's what's not. Let's scrap these. Let's do something else that's more, in line. So I would expect the Aztecs should be a better version of themselves when they show up tonight at Colorado State.
They're getting points tonight.
They're getting
2.5 points right now.
On the road in the Mountain West.
On the road in the Mountain West, Benny. Jaden Ledee will have his, he's got 998 career points. Will certainly eclipse the 1,000-point mark tonight. You'd hope. If Jaden Ledee does not eclipse the 1,000-point mark, this team's in a lot of trouble tonight.
One thing Dutch said over the weekend as he was talking to the media and preparing for this game, he said, we are not shooting well. And you look at the numbers, I think field goal percentage, they're second to last in the conference, and three-point shooting percentage, they're dead last in the Mountain West. And you can look at that as a negative, obviously. But he said, but we're 16-4, even though we aren't shooting well. And I do believe we have good shooters. So if we can find a way to start shooting the basketball like I think we're capable of, we could be a great team. We're not there yet. You got to shoot to be a great team, and we haven't done that. But to win 16 out of 20 games, 800 winning percentage, without really ever locking in as shooters, tells you that they're doing a lot of other things right so far this season. So can they get it going tonight? Will that shooting come? Can they carry it through to the NCAA tournament? We will see.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, yeah.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Not too late for Woods.
No excuses for me, my
You
friend.
actually can watch it. It's CBS Sports Network.
Good.
So it is available to everybody. And again, if they lose, they still are on track to make the NCAA tournament. You don't have to win the Mountain West.
You just said it's a must-win game.
I know. And you don't have to win the Mountain West to get to the
loading
NCAA
up his
tournament.
bowl of copium right now.
I'm saying that must-win has different definitions. And if you want to be in the position...
It's a must-win, but you don't have to win it.
Obviously, you don't have to win it.
All right.
So it's not...
You tell me I have to have strong sports takes, and you just said this is a must-win game.
Well,
but it doesn't matter if they win.
if they lose, they're not out of the NCAA tournament or anything.
So it's not a must-win.
So it's not a must-win. Not even close, then.
Which is what I said at the beginning.
But it's not even close to a must-win game.
There's never any must-win games until the end of the season. You could go 0-30 in the regular season in college basketball. And if you win your conference tournament and then win 6 games in a row, you're the NCAA champion. So essentially, none of your first 30 games are ever must-win in college basketball.
You can rattle off 10 straight wins at the end of the year.
Yep.
You are the national champion.
It's amazing more teams don't take their foot off the gas early to try to save something for the end.
Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky,
Doesn't
all
matter.
these schools with the top recruits in the country.
And you can go 30-0.
Like, we're going to get you ramped up in February.
And lose your first game in the NCAA tournament, and your season is over.
Caitlin says, Ben, I'm so lost. Nobody knows how to feel now after that explanation.
I'm just saying, it's an important game. If we want to call it kind of a must-win, you can, but I know it's not really a must-win game.
He's got a shovel right now, and he's just...
It's not real. There's no such thing as must-win games, but let's...
If we were in a court of law right now and I was a defense attorney, I'd be shredded.
You could pick apart.
Is it a must-win game?
No.
Yes or no?
No, Your Honor,
no,
it is
thank
not.
you. Okay. The defense
Nor
rests.
will any other game be a must-win game until March.
Okay, so now I understand. When you say it's a must-win game, potentially, it's a game you really want them to win. You just want them to win.
I'm talking in sportscaster hyperbole here. And I admitted that at the very start of my speech, that this is sportscaster hyperbole. Of course, it's not a must-win game.
Cheater said Ben used to be my favorite. It's these soft, waffly takes. You're costing us an audience right now. It's one you'd really like to see them win. And I would too, as I just put money on them. So let's go Aztecs.
All right. When we come back, if you want to join us to talk some Padres baseball, where do you see the rest of the Padres rotation going right now? Behind Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, and Michael King. And how good is that top 3? Eno Saris has a list out that...
Love this.
I actually was a little surprised.
I was too.
Pleasantly surprised when I saw it yesterday. Get to that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got to
the
win
Christmas
the show.
and holiday extravaganza.
That's a must-win show.
It's the last one of the year. It's a must-win. Must-win show. We've never lost it. Never once.
That's good to know.
Yeah, never lost it
Good
once.
to know.
Absolutely dominated it every year.
This feels like a must-win game. But it only feels that way because it's not. It's actually a must-win game.
It's all about the text that you got.
Yeah, Jim Rogan, former Clipper, has done a lot of broadcasting, San Diego State and other college broadcasting. Says, I can't tell you how many times I've heard a coach tell me it's a must-win game. But it's not. It's college basketball. Until you get to the conference tournament, there are no must-win games in college basketball.
I'm
freaky that way.
Running the Tier 1 baseball team, every game is a must-win game, and I will manage as such.
Which
just
is
so
fine.
You know.
I mean, you got to motivate any way you can motivate.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll lose playing time,
but
whatever.
Logic dictates it's not really a must-win game.
It's not.
But I definitely
But you want to see him win.
Prefer
I get it.
to win it.
I get it. You prefer it's a preferred win. A preferred win.
Preferred win game. But then again, which games are not preferred win games?
I prefer to lose this one tonight.
It's just a matter of degrees at this point.
That's right.
All right, Eno's new list should give you a little bit of encouragement if you're a Padres fan, talking about the pitching rotation. Get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your 15-minute instant drive-thru oil change. Several problems here, guys. Accident involving a motorcycle, middle lane, southbound side of the 125. This is near Lemon Avenue. Also an accident on the Garnett Balboa on-ramp to northbound 5. Some defective traffic signals on the Sorrento Valley Road off-ramp, northbound 805. Also a hit-and-run crash reported on the Kelton Road off-ramp, westbound King Freeway. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for discounts and locations nearest you. Valvoline Oil Change centers are open 7 days a week. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Eno Saris of The Athletic, he of our weekly Smart Baseball appearances, in anticipation of the new Major League Baseball season, released his starting pitching fantasy rankings yesterday. Now, normally I'd say, fantasy, throw it out the window. But this is Eno, and his information is always based on, the top data that he can get, his stuff plus, his location plus, his pitching plus, and fantasy numbers are derived based on how well guys actually pitch.
They're real numbers.
So in this sense, this is a ranking of essentially the top pitchers in baseball. You might move guys around a little bit based on strikeouts. Strikeouts are very valuable in fantasy, versus other, like ERA is not quite as valuable as strikeouts. So it moves around a little bit. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that the Padres had 3 of the top 35 pitchers in Eno's rankings in their starting rotation, with Joe Musgrove checking in at number 36, Michael King at number 32, and Yu Darvish at number 35.
Yeah, right there, all snuggled in together.
Now, they're not, no one in the top 20, but when you think about it, there are 30 baseball teams.
Yeah.
So if every team's top pitcher was a number 1, there would be 30 number 1 pitchers in baseball.
There are 30 number 1 pitchers.
Now, some teams you can argue, they got 2 number 1s, and this team doesn't have. They just have a bunch of number 3s. But essentially, every team will have one best starter. And the Padres then have 3 guys who are in that, low 1, high 2 range. So you've got a low 1 and 2 high 2s as your top 3 pitchers. That's a pretty good start to any rotation.
It's a good start. Dodgers have 3 guys in the top 19.
That's a very good start to a rotation right there.
Yeah.
For sure. And, if you're trying to compare yourself to the Dodgers at this point,
you can't do it.
Not sure what you're going to do, but
Seattle Mariners have 3 in the top 11.
That is fantastic.
Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, and George Kirby being at the top. I went in reverse order there as I was scrolling up.
But after those 2, I don't think there's any other team that has 3 in the top 35 other than the Mariners, Dodgers, and Padres.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's a terrific start to an area that we have all been almost on the verge of panic about Padres starting rotation this offseason. There are teams that would gladly trade the Padres' top 3 starters for their top 3 starters. Probably about half or more of the teams of baseball. So the Padres are off to a good start. The question is, what do they do about the 4 and the 5 spots? Because the list goes all the way to 150. So essentially 30 number 1s, 30 number 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. And you don't see any more Padres until deep on the list when you run into, let's see, who was it? At number 115, Randy Vasquez, and then number 145 at Johnny Brito. Now, they may or may not end up being the guys who are the 4th and 5th starters, but essentially you got a low number 4 and a low number 5 as your last 2. Not guys that other teams would want to trade essentially for their back end of the rotation. That's where the Padres remain weak and highly questionable going into the season.
Yeah, and I don't know how uncommon, Ben, it is in baseball, because when your team is throwing its number 4 out there, it usually works out. You're going up against the team's number 4. There's so many question marks though, and I think what you mentioned Padre fans being in a almost terror about the starting rotation. I don't know that it's not totally unwarranted, right? Based on injuries and things like that. Now, I expect Joe Musgrove to be ready to go. Barring any freaky accidents or anything like that, I think Joe returns to form. Yu Darvish remains a question mark, even though his stuff at times can be electric and stuff that Eno really, really likes, the pitch selection and, the pitch repertoire and all that. Michael King, I love that he's up there. I do. I love that he's up there. I can't wait to see, Ruben get his hands in that clay and start molding that. What Ruben's done with a lot of our pitchers is great. And I guess I need to have the same faith in Ruben with the guys who may potentially make up the bottom of our rotation as well. Let's see what happens with these guys. And I really, if let's say we don't add another quote unquote starting pitcher, Hyunjin Ryu, somebody like that. Let's say they just don't, and they roll with what they got. Okay, I mean, I think Avila showed me enough last year to warrant at least a start in the rotation. The 5th spot is where it gets a little bit dicey. I don't know that Matt Waldron is a guy that you're going to ride the entire season as a 5. You do need somebody else behind him. So it's going to be interesting to see how the battles shake out at spring training with these guys and, what they're projecting them to be. Obviously, we'd love one more starter. At a bare minimum, I don't know if it's going to happen. I wish I did. I still have, other than the Lorenzen deal that you talked about, Padres, I haven't really seen them, they're the rumors and whispers that they're in on this guy. That's the only one I've seen in the last few weeks, I think, is him. And Ryu keeps being brought up, but I think that's mostly by Padres fans.
Now, you're also comparing to what you had last season. And last season, you had a really, really solid 4 and 5 because it was generally Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha. Lugo checks in at number 45 on the list. That would be a fantastic number 4 starter right now. Essentially a bottom end number 2 guy being your number 4, but they didn't keep him. He only has Michael Wacha at 126, which Michael Wacha has been much more effective than that the last couple of years, yet the numbers always kind of say it's a bit of a mystery how he's been so effective. We'll see if he can keep that up with the Kansas City Royals this season or if he takes a step backwards. Still, Padres got a lot of good production out of the back end of their starting rotation the last year. That is the question mark going into this season. Will it be one of those Yankee guys? Will it be someone that's not on the team right now? Will it be Avila or Waldron or one of the younger guys later in the season that steps up? If, the top 3 stay healthy, great. That's a pretty good start. Where's the rest of those starts coming from this year?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what their plan is, man. It really is. And, the competition is a good thing. We'll see who shakes out at spring training and who grabs those spots. I mean, those are spots that are available. Who wants the ball every 4th and 5th day? A couple of more bodies would be nice, but I just don't know that we're there, seeing what guys are getting right now. Lorenzen for $11 million a year, $12 million a year just seems like a lot of dough for that guy.
A.J. Cassavell mentioned, in addition to the in-house options of Avila and Waldron, Iriarte is on the 40-man. Yep. They had to put him on to avoid the Rule 5 draft. He'll probably get even more of a look than Snelling, unless, Snelling is a great prospect, but he seems like he's too young to really be competing for a starting job right now. Lesko's not even getting a 40-man invitation yet, so he's clearly a little farther away from the big leagues. Could Iriarte be someone? Could Mazer maybe be someone that battles even like out of spring training for a spot on the starting rotation? There's always one guy that really looks good in spring, and then you wonder, are they ready to make that jump? Do we trust them to make that jump? I don't know who it's going to be, but there'll be one pitcher that goes, God, his numbers. He got a 0.8 ERA this spring. He's been fantastic. Are we ready to put him in our starting rotation?
And I never know, because every time I think, I see, oh, yeah, look at that. He looks great. Let's get him out there. And they don't. But then, you see some of the guys they call up in season, and you're like, oh, okay. I don't want to name any names. I like these guys. They're nice guys. But, these guys getting spot starts here and there, you're like, oh, so that's the guy that we're rolling with. Makes sense. It's interesting, too. What's the lag again between the opening day in Korea and our home opener against the Giants? It's one full week.
It's the 20th and the 21st, and then the 28th. So one full week from the second game in Korea to the game against the Giants at Petco Park.
So you're the skipper, and everybody comes through spring training healthy, right? And you're ready to go. You, Darvish, game 1, Joe Musgrove, game 2, then week off, you, Darvish, game 1, Joe Musgrove, game 2 again?
Very good chance of it.
Or flip them. Flip them the next time.
Unless,
Mike, who wants that home start?
I mean, if Michael King looks fantastic in spring, you might want to get him an earlier start and get him an extra start this season. But, my guess would be that would probably be the plan.
And they're playing exhibition games
in between
here against the Mariners.
Yeah, 2 games against the Mariners at Petco Park in between Korea and the Giants' game 3 of the season.
Like extended spring training or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they may be conservative with, like Darvish and Musgrove coming off injuries, and they may just go 1-2-3-4, or they may go 3-4-1-2. I don't know what the Mike Shiltz strategy is going to be when it comes to pitcher usage and not wanting to put too many innings, but you could essentially load up an extra start for your 1 and 2 starters based on the Korea series and how the schedule works out. Now, will they be stretched out enough to go more than 4 or 5 innings at that point? Right. That's usually like your second to last start of spring training right around then, or last start of spring training. You're not all the way ready to go 7, for a full start by that point. So it may be more of a, hey, can you give me 4, maybe 5, and then we're going to the bullpen in these games in Korea.
So, they're essentially losing a week of spring training then by playing these games. Yeah, okay.
And they will play, I believe, a couple of exhibition games against Korean teams when they're over there during that week, because they're going a week early before the 20th.
They leave on the 13th.
Yeah, they leave on the 13th. So they're there for a week to do some PR and promotion, but they're also going to kind of continue spring training and play a couple of exhibition games against Korean teams in the days leading up to their actual games against the Dodgers.
Now, we got a Dodger fan in the chat. He goes by the Vegas Irish. He says the Korea series is going to be the Padres World Series. They'll throw everything at the Dodgers. Buddy,
I doubt that.
You're going to throw everything at the Padres, too. You guys just spent $1 billion. It's not like they're not going to play, their best players. Trust me.
It's, just the logic kind of dictates that you don't have a game for another week, so you can empty your bullpens. Yeah. You can use your starters however long
both
you want
teams will.
In those games.
Yeah,
there's no reason.
Both teams will.
No reason not. They're real games, so there's no reason not to try and go all out to win them. And you don't have to worry about who's going to pitch in the third game or the day after that or the day after that, because everyone gets a rest for a week before they get to pitch again. So they will absolutely try to win those games, just as the Dodgers will try to win those games.
So some breaking news here on Ben and Woods. The Padres are going to try to win those
Padres
two
will try
games.
to win those 2 games. That's what I'm hearing. Rumors out of the clubhouse.
Sources are telling
they're
us.
going to try to win those games.
Not going to punt on the first 2 games of the season.
What if the Dodgers just came out with their B lineup? They got Will Smith playing center field. Hey, this is how good we are.
I'd be very surprised if Yamamoto doesn't start one of those 2 games.
Yamamoto against Darvish you have to see it. You have to see it. You got to have it.
It's almost, I mean, if Major League Baseball was orchestrating it, Darvish, Yamamoto, makes a lot of sense. Now, if you're the Dodgers, are you ready to just give a newcomer like that the first? Now, for Darvish, he's a veteran. It makes perfect sense to start the first game of the season. He's done opening day for the Padres at least once, hasn't he? Yeah. I don't know that Yamamoto necessarily is right there at the number one of their rotation right away.
You're going to get Glass now, and you're going to get...
You've got a couple of other candidates who have more major league experience, but from a PR standpoint, yeah, you can sell in Asia Darvish, Yamamoto, Kim,
Gotta have it, man.
Otani. Quite well over there. You want to see, I'm sure, all of those guys appearing in the series as much as possible.
Now, are those must-win games for the Padres?
I would say not.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want them to win.
Yeah. They're want-to-win games.
Important to win.
Yeah. They're actually...
Preferred.
They're 162 out of importance of the entire season.
All right.
But there's no conference tournament at the end of the year.
No, there's not.
Even if you can't go 0-1 and 62 and then win your way to the World Series at the end. So you do actually have to win some regular season games in baseball, unlike college basketball.
I'll take a split. I'll sign up for a split right now. I will take a split. Won't you guys?
Yeah, it feels because the Dodgers would never sign up for that.
No,
there's not a Dodger fan who goes, yeah, I'm okay with a split against the Padres. No, they want to win both.
They want to win both,
and the Padres will be happy winning one of two.
Split, yeah,
but that's the reality of it.
I'm absolutely fine with it.
Be absolutely thrilled. Now it's baseball. Padres can come home 2-0,
no doubt,
and it doesn't mean that the Padres are now the favorites in the NL West, and the Dodgers are overrated and. Not what we thought they were going to be. It would mean absolutely nothing at that point, even if the Padres were 2-0 and the Dodgers were 0-2.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I will feel decently if they come home at 1-1. I will be elated if they come home at 2-0.
Cancel the parade.
That's
why you play the game.
I'll be pretty bummed, but can logically dismiss it if they come home at 0-2.
Yeah. I won't be.
You're going to be panicking for a week.
Yeah, remember me after last. Now we have a week of panic.
That makes it more of a must-win game, just to keep you from being an insane person for a week.
Remember last year when Snell got rocked by the Rockies? I was so mad. Well, I was right.
You didn't have a week to sit around and stew on it either.
Exactly.
What if I told you that Blake Snell would go on to win
8 and 5
the
innings.
Cy Young Award? Woods, would you have been less panicked?
Herman Marquez bodied you in your house on opening day.
All right, we get the final hour. Reindl Report coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. Final hour of Ben and Woods today is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. It must be sunny outside because even with my backdrop here on the YouTube stream, I've got a halo.
Because you're an angel.
Maybe I'm just the angel.
Sweet angel of the show.
All right. Sports quiz, Woods. You ready?
Oh, God.
Pop quiz. There's a bomb on the bus. No, pop quiz. Who is Joe Ortiz?
Joe Ortiz?
Joe Ortiz.
Come on.
I don't know. Should I know?
Maybe, maybe not. I may have just made it up. Maybe this is real or fake.
Fake.
He's the new general manager of the LA Chargers. Was hired this morning officially.
Is it done?
He was the director of player personnel for the Baltimore Ravens. So stealing from one Harbaugh to give to the other Harbaugh to work with Jim Harbaugh. And I would imagine that Jim Harbaugh is really the string puller now. You don't take that deal to work for the Chargers unless you have pretty much carte blanche, full authority.
Yep. All right, who was pop quiz? Who was the drummer in Led Zeppelin?
Let's see. That was Jimmy Page.
Nope. John Bonham.
John Bonham.
Idiot.
That's why we're well.
Helena Bonham Carter's father.
Nope.
No.
Jason Bonham's dad. All right,
Just
Paul,
checking.
Take it away.
Checking how it works.
Joe Ortiz.
Joe Ortiz.
Ortiz.
I was wondering whether it was pronounced in the Latin American style or if it was just like Hortiz. So I looked up, I went to a Ravens podcast and heard them say Joe Ortiz.
You are thorough.
And that's enough discussion of that team for this morning.
All right.
Paulie, let's get to the Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right. Gentlemen, good
Breaking
morning.
Padres news. Padres announced.
Interrupting this regularly scheduled
What was
Reindl
it?
Report. Regularly scheduled Reindl Report. There's a lot of R's in that sentence. Regularly scheduled Reindl Report. So what do we?
Padres have announced their player development minor league coaching staffs for the 2024 season, Ben.
There's JoJo Tarantino on the
That's
sports
my guy,
medicine
JoJo.
side. Got to hang out with JoJo a lot at fantasy camp.
He rubbed me down several times.
I see Glenn and Trevor Hoffman, both as senior advisors to baseball operations. Mark Loretta, Hideo Nomo, Chan-Ho Park, and Craig Stammen, all in the special assistant category
Love
as
it.
well. Moises Alou, Alan Craig, A.J. Ellis. All the former players just as in the special assistant category.
I would like to talk to Dad, Craig Stammen, again. He's so beloved by that team. He's beloved. I would like to talk to him again and put in a request for Craig Stammen.
Can do that.
Yeah, no real surprises here.
I mean, mostly names you don't know for the most part. AAA manager Pete Zamora in El Paso. AA manager Luke Montz in San Antonio. High single-A Fort Wayne manager Mike Daly. And Lake Elsinore single-A low manager Lucas Ray.
Cool.
I don't see any other big league names on there. Jimmy Jones as the assistant pitching coach in El Paso.
Oh, Jimmy Jones. Nice.
Jimmy Jones.
There you go. All right. Sorry to interrupt this regularly scheduled Reindl Report for the Padres minor league coaching news.
Well, you know what else happens regularly is every Monday we get a new top 25 in college basketball.
Benny was quick with it yesterday.
Oh, he was.
He was so
he
quick
looks forward
with
to it more than anything, all week long.
all week.
He just sits there from 9 to 10, just pacing back and forth, waiting for the top 25.
Well, I wonder, Ben, if it's time to maybe hang it up because the engagement is low.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it's time.
Well, it's because there wasn't a whole lot of movement.
Yeah, I wasn't outraged at it.
Fair.
You know.
San Diego State stays at number 27. I don't know if that surprised you at all or not. They played one game last week. They won handedly against Wyoming, who then beat Colorado State, San Diego State's opponent tonight. Elsewhere in the top 25, not a whole lot of movement. The top 5 stayed unchanged.
Read me the top 5, Paul.
UConn, Purdue, North Carolina, Houston, and Tennessee.
Okay.
Watched Houston beat Texas last night in a thriller, overtime, I think. They're a good team for sure. Could be a Final Four team. UConn obviously won the title last year. We remember that.
Keep running it back, man.
They're always very good. San Diego State's metrics are better than their ranking. If you want a little bit of outrage, their net ranking's 20, their Ken Palm's 21, but they can't crack the top 25 in the AP.
Yeah.
Why don't they? I keep thinking you should get more credit because you're San Diego State, but somehow they always still get less credit.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, but whatever. It doesn't really matter.
It's killed the narrative of the last, making the championship game.
They could just get to the
saying,
Final Four
or
a championship game will finally be.
The respect will come flowing in.
Nothing has changed at all.
Not a damn
Not
thing.
even a little bit.
Not even a little.
All right, we'll move on from college hoops to the NBA. Yesterday, big game in the Western Conference. First place at stake. Still early in the season, but the Timberwolves, they beat the Thunder 107-101, and Anthony Edwards from the Timberwolves was hot mad at the referees. He was not pleased with how the officiating went throughout the game. In fact, right after the game was over, he was doing an interview with the sideline reporter, and here's what he had to say.
And tonight it was the battle amongst the best in the West. You guys take sole position of number 1 in the West. How did you get it done in this environment?
I don't know. And I'm going to take the fine because the refs did not give us no calls tonight. We had to play through every bump, every grab. I don't know how we won tonight. Big shout out to my team. Big shout out to my coaches for sure.
Anytime you hear, I'm going to take the fine, I'm like, oh boy, where is he going? Where is he going?
There's no doubt, though, that the complainers tend to end up getting calls in the long run. There's a strategy to it, and you can take the fine. But take last night. Did you see Luka Doncic, or was it? No, it was Jokic against the Milwaukee Bucks. So Giannis was at the free throw line. Giannis takes forever. When he gets the ball for a free throw, he stands there and looks. And technically, you only get 10 seconds to shoot the free throw. And Jokic is standing there in the rebounding position. He's kind of like, come on, let's go. And the crowd's like chanting, 1, 2, and they get to like 12, and Giannis shoots and makes it, and he does it again, and Jokic is going, I mean, isn't there supposed to be a rule on this? Next time Giannis went to the free throw line, the crowd got to 12, the referee goes, whip! I've never seen a call before.
Wow.
He goes, 10-second violation. Took too long to take his free throw.
Sometimes
you complain, sometimes you get the calls.
Sometimes you just have to point it out. I love pointing things out to umpires and refs.
And that's part of the strategy of managers as well. They'll go out and they'll argue just to try to get the next call. Yeah,
you'll see it
point
between
it out.
innings. Hey, just by the way, this guy's not pausing when he comes set. He's not coming set. Just something
you watch for this?
Can you watch for this? It's a great bit. Great manager.
Speaking of weird NBA rules, I didn't know about this one. Did you see Joel Embiid missed another game with injury?
Yeah, I saw this.
If he misses 5 more games, he will no longer be eligible for postseason awards, including MVP, which he is one of the favorites to win. But if you don't play in enough games now, they just say, and then you can't win the award.
Somebody said, they tweeted, like, he's just like us. He's running out of PTO. I was like, that's so good. I had no idea. I had no idea that
borrow against his 2025 numbers.
Exactly
here
right.
Anthony Edwards, he went on after the game. Even that was immediately following the conclusion of the game with the television broadcast, and then afterwards in the locker room, he kept going on about the refs. So he's definitely going to get that fine that he says he doesn't care about. He was talking to reporters in the locker room. He said the refs was bad tonight. Yeah, they was terrible. We was playing 8-on-5. Cat got their tongue tonight, so it's all good. It's not fair, but it's all good.
Love it.
He was not happy. All right, and finally, don't really have a story here, but Woodsy sent this over, and I'm assuming it's because he saw that it is national or international, I guess, Yodel for Your Neighbor's Day.
I am have morbid curiosity about people that yodel. Like if you're a young man and you're like, what What spurs it? It's not to get girls. Like I picked up.
That's probably pretty true.
I picked up the guitar when I was a kid because I was like, I think I can get girls with this.
You
A lot
sent
of
over
guys.
this video of. I
There's
think his
something
name is
just
Franzel Lang.
fun about yodeling, though, right?
Is there?
You're just kind of letting loose.
This is a real person. What prompted him to start this?
It's a revered cultural musical
guess.
style in the alpine regions of Europe.
What if you met your dream woman and she's like, by the way,
Just because you grew up listening to, rock music and guitar, other kids in other parts of the country
They
grew
listen to
up,
that?
I'm going to be a great yodeler someday.
what if you met your dream woman and she's like, sorry, Delilah? What if she was like, I'm a yodeler?
I could get into it.
Bet you could. Bet you would, Panama Red.
She's like, I actually am a serial killer. He's like, it's fine by me. I'm not going to rat you out. I'm not going to say a damn word.
Secret safe with
You
me,
like
Delilah.
Dexter, that you only kill bad people?
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's fine. Why not? Yeah, National Yodel Day. I'm obsessed with it.
Give us a yodel.
I'm not. I can't do it. Can you do it? You said it's fun.
You're great.
You do it.
Why
do you?
You
You really can't do falsetto, can you?
No, we've determined that many times that I cannot do a good falsetto.
Yeah, somebody said this guy's probably getting some, actually, that guy.
Really?
Over there, maybe. In Germany. They're like, God dang, look at you.
Big stein of beer,
Yeah.
and a good yodeler.
Yeah.
Set for the night. It's also National Inane Answering Machine Message Day.
I miss the days of answering machine.
Maybe this could be your answering machine message.
Megan said, sounds like I'm in line for the Matterhorn right now. Yeah.
I see the Price is Right. Remember the yodel game in Price is Right, where you didn't want the yodeler to fall off the mountain? Cliffhangers, that was called.
I don't remember. I don't. I would tell you if I did. I don't.
You didn't watch as much Price is Right as I did. Did not. Watched a lot of Price
Absolute
is Right.
staple when you stayed home from school.
Stayed home from school. That was a good bit.
What else are you going to watch at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. other than the Price is Right?
Be surprised.
Showcase showdowns. I love the spinning of the big wheel.
I always wanted to get a turn on that thing.
Yeah. Spin the wheel.
I always feared, though, that I would get up there and do it, and I wasn't strong enough, and it would be like a very weak spin, and people would be like,
They'd laugh at you if you didn't get it all the way around. You had to get it at least all the way around
you
for
would
it to count.
you would overdo it,
Yeah.
and then it spins and spins and spins.
There's
and
a couple of
spins.
viral videos of people who spun themselves under the wheel, like they lost their balance.
Oh my
and
God, I did not know
just
that.
pulled themselves right, like some vortex under the wheel.
Dwayne says Ben skipping school. Ben never skipped school, never once. You had perfect attendance.
I did.
For how long?
I think from the time I got chicken pox in second grade until I had to go on the academic team field trip in senior year of high school.
Oh my God.
What happened to you now in work life?
That's like 10 years.
You know what? They should have PTO for kids too.
They do. They called summer.
You should get 5 days of PTO.
They give you
every
3
year.
months
You just
off.
put in for your PTO.
These kids with their vacations now, I'm telling you, it's every other day. Oh, it's this day. The teachers get a day off this day. And I get it.
Teacher planning days.
They work very hard. But I need you to watch my children.
We should have radio host planning days like every 2 weeks. We get a day off.
Day off? Fine by
plan.
me. Fine by me. Thank you, Paulie.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was your regularly scheduled Reindl Report.
Wrap it up because I'm peeing my pants.
Woods has got to go to the bathroom. We'll be back with more Ben and Woods after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Mentioned earlier, the Padres just announced their 2024 player development and minor league coaching staffs. And no reason to go through all the names. They're not going to be familiar to us or most fans out there other than a handful. We mentioned some of the special assistants, the big league guys that you know, like Trevor Hoffman and Mark Loretta and Hideo Nomo. I did find it interesting, though, the number of positions in a Major League Baseball organization nowadays that would not have existed 20 years ago. And I was just reading through the list of people the Padres employ. For instance, they have 2 performance dietitians on their sports medicine and performance staff. They have 3 physical therapists, a performance coach. Not exactly sure what a performance coach does.
I'm glad we don't have one.
Let's see. In their front office and administration, a mental skills coordinator.
Like that?
A ESL instructor, that's English as a second language. So for players who are not native English speakers, they have classes and someone who coordinates, helping with English. Sports scientist, again, not entirely sure what scientists do in sports, but I'm sure there's some like motion and
I was going to let you go here.
Physics that
you're
are
working
involved
this out.
here.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work it all out.
I wonder if Goose Gossage likes the sports scientist.
They have
You're a nerd, too.
They have a manager of learning, education, and life skills.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And then all the the ones that you'd expect, the regular coaches, pitching coordinator, hitting coordinator, the positions that you would expect to see in a Major League Baseball organization. But a lot of newer, more modern-sounding positions now within a Major League Baseball organization.
Are we? Yeah, in general. But did they have these people last year, or are there additions? Or
I think
new?
some of these are holdovers from last year.
Okay.
I don't know that any of them are particularly new. I know they didn't exist back in the 1990s necessarily, or even early 2000s. That these are more of a modern development of the game and finding. Really, it's always. The game is what little edge can we get?
That's it.
Is there a way that we can improve our organization compared to other teams? Or what are other teams doing that have given them an edge on us that we now need to match? So if another team has success with a sports scientist, then guess what? You're going to see 29 other sports scientists around Major League Baseball because you can't give up that edge to other clubs. And if you're trying to develop these slight advantages before the other team. So maybe for one season or two, you have the edge on the opponent because you've got something working for you that they don't.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, I think. We were talking about some of the golfers and stuff, some of their stories. A lot of them have mental skills coach. The quarterback from Michigan, J.J. McCarthy's got been working with a mental skills coach. I mean, honestly, it's such a no-brainer these days, and I'm sure there are old school players they'll probably say, we didn't need any mental skills coach. But listening to, it's funny you mentioned this.
It's funny because I know you're right.
Right, but I bet you, if asked, and if sat down in truth serum, they would say, yeah, I probably could have. We talked to when we were out at camp. Tim Flannery was telling a story about Dick Williams, and Flan said that. Dick walked in. He goes, "You're not a good player. You're not a good hitter. I don't like you. You suck, basically. But you suck. But you're here, so be ready when I tell you to be ready." And Flan said he cried. He said he cried on the way home. He ripped the door off the hinges. Was so mad. Yeah, man. I think for some of those guys. Now it's always the first guy that takes the step of like, no, I've been working with the mental skills coach and my game's improving. The stigma is really going away, but I think that would be massively beneficial to every baseball player, especially that game when there's so much failure,
I think what makes me laugh, though, is that even if you're old school and we didn't have those kind of things back in the day. Oh, you didn't have self-doubt in the 1970s?
Yeah, it didn't exist back then?
Pretty sure that self-doubt has existed for much longer than even Major League Baseball has existed. That there was always a spot for a mental skills coach.
Sure.
You just didn't have they just didn't have the tools and know-how to implement it back then. But
I wonder who was the first team that said, let's get somebody in and open door policy. And if you need to talk about something that's going on, because I remember asking Mark Loretta and Archie about when they would slump. And they said it was literally hell on earth. You didn't know if you'd ever going to get hit again. And those doubts crept in. You take an 0 for 4, then you take an 0 for 8, then you take an 0 for 12, and you're like, I can't hit. And I'm never going to hit again.
You talked about the slump buster when we were at spring training.
Bring up the slump buster.
No, but that was something that players would do.
Correct.
But don't you think that maybe a better strategy might have been to tackle some of the, underlying issues as to why you might be struggling mentally at a time, as opposed to just going out and, having a wild night and thinking that that'll fix everything when you come back?
It's been proven pretty foolproof, to be honest with you. But I don't. I just, again,
only because you think.
Of course, and
it's anything. It's only because you think it's working that it's working.
Yeah, and you hope that these guys are utilizing everything at their fingertips, certainly, because I think it's not going to hurt you one bit. I promise you, it will not hurt you. I think it can only help.
Now, would Goose Gossage have responded well to a mental skills coach? My guess is not.
No.
And by the way, you brought up the example of Flannery. Not every player responds well to the warm, nurturing, encouraging coach. Some players respond better to the harsh, scream at you kind of coaches that are considered old school. But I promise you, not every player in the 1970s and 80s responded well to Dick Williams belittling them and screaming at them. They would have maybe been much better players with a guy who was a little more nurturing and fostering. And part of modern coaching is knowing the difference between the two and which players respond to which.
Yeah, and I think, I love this. I didn't know about those positions that they Padres had and employed those people, and I think that's great, and I hope the guys are using them, especially for the young guys too. I mean, as a little league or T-ball coach, I can't tell you how hard it is to watch somebody melt down over booting a ball or throwing one away. And it's like, bro, get used to it, because you're going to have the worst days of your life out here.
And I think one thing I liked about Bob Melvin, I think Bruce Bochy does it well also, and I believe Mike Schilt has it in him, is the ability to be both tough but also empathetic. When players are struggling, it's not always a kick in the rear that they need. Sometimes they need a pat on the back, and sometimes they need encouragement. But sometimes they do need little earful to break them out of something.
I didn't see Bomel giving a lot of earfuls. Now, again, behind closed doors, I have no idea, but I didn't see or hear about that. I think Schilt maybe has a little bit more of that in him.
Yeah, and I think Boch was good at striking the balance as well. He could be very tough and give people an earful, but he wasn't without compassion and empathy.
100%.
And I think that's one of the reasons he's successful. I heard him on MLB radio doing a long-form interview this offseason. They were talking about his time with the San Diego Padres, and he was talking about playing for Dick Williams, and it got me thinking. Dick Williams is in the Padres Hall of Fame. Boch hasn't been inducted yet, has he? Or what? At some point he's going to, right? I mean, he took the Padres to a World Series. He's going in, right? Are they waiting until he's completely and totally retired? I mean, yeah. He's got to be part of the Padres.
That's going to feel a little.
I know it does because of all the Giant success and now Rangers success. But how do you have Dick Williams in the Padres Hall of Fame and not Bruce Bochy in the Padres Hall of Fame? Boch was manager much longer.
Yeah,
had more playoff appearances. Had the same number of World Series appearances.
Did Dick Williams go on to great success after he left the San Diego Padres?
Yeah. Didn't he win a World Series? Where did he win? I feel like he had other success in other franchises. So
I don't know how I feel about that.
He won the 72 and 73 before the Padres. He won the World Series with the A's.
Nothing after.
After he managed the Mariners for a few years, but didn't
no World Series there.
Didn't afterwards win a World Series.
Did it change anything for you?
No.
Okay.
I still think Boch is obviously got to be a part of it at some point. Yeah.
If you're fine with it, I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it.
All right.
Now, should it be like during a Padres Giants game? No. Let's not do it then.
Presenting the award, Bob Melvin. Mel brings him in.
There's a time and a place, obviously, for such things.
The year is 2045, maybe, for that to happen. But, yeah, interesting stuff, Benny.
All right, we got one segment to go. Then Annie and Elston ready to take over on a Tuesday. Do not go anywhere. Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Have you guys got yet by the Girl Scouts? Have they gotten you? Gotten to you yet?
My colleague Jeff Lasky has a 7-year-old and sent out a giant email to our entire 10 News crew yesterday saying he could be your source for all Girl Scout cookies. They now have like an app, a Girl Scout cookie app.
Oh, yeah.
You can order them on the app.
I got assaulted in my driveway. I was pulling in the other day. Yeah, I was assaulted by 2 Girl Scouts that live across the street, and I was getting my baseball bag out of the trunk, and I shut the trunk, and in the reflection of the window, I saw them pulling their wagon across the street, and I just went, oh, F. Oh, no. And I turned around, I said, it's that time of year again, isn't it? And they laughed. And
you bought 14 boxes.
I bought 3 boxes to carry, and I bought 2 to donate. Made it a nice, even 5. Walked away with 3.
Who gets those, the donated boxes?
Don't care. I don't get them. But I honestly, you guys, I've never been. I took them inside, and I walked inside, and on the counter was a box of Samoas already, and by the door was a giant box full of Girl Scout cookies. I'm like, they got to her too. They got to my wife too. And I said to her, she walked in, and I go, did we double up? And she goes, get these out of the house. Take them to work. I said, yeah, I will. So I opened the box of Samoas. I had 2, and I brought the rest to work. It's the fewest amount of Girl Scout cookies I've ever eaten in a season. And when does the season end?
It's not just starting. We're at spring training.
This is like
Girl Scout
the Korea.
season,
No,
yeah.
we're not even to the Korea series.
I don't think so.
Yet. Oh my God! Wow, they got me for 5 already. I've only eaten 2 cookies total though.
You
Paulie,
like coconut though. I don't like coconut.
I love the Samoas.
They haven't
See,
gotten me yet.
frozen Thin Mints are my vice.
Have you eaten any?
No, not yet.
I remember it sucked. This was a few years ago now when you used to just be, sorry, I don't have any cash on me.
Now
As
they
you're
have
walking
Venmo
into the
now.
grocery store. Now they're like Venmo, debit card, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you need.
Oh, we got the Square. We can slide your card right through
Yeah,
here.
we'll do an express equity loan from Loan Pronto.
Sorry,
right
I don't
now.
have any money.
What are the peanut butter ones? The Do-si-dos?
Yeah.
Those are good. I have to let everybody know that I was at Costco the other day, and I had seen someone tweet about this product, and they said, is there crack in these? And they were so good. So I had to buy a bag, and they were absolutely right. If you see Reese's coated animal crackers, they are insane. I have to limit myself to like 2 little tiny ones because you could just keep eating those things. They are so good. They're covered in the Reese's peanut butter and the Reese's chocolate, but then they're the animal crackers inside. And they are ridiculously good. I mean, like unfair. Like don't even buy them. Actually, never mind that I said anything. Just forget about it. You're better off not knowing. Erase the last few minutes from your mind.
Well, I was driving home from playing ball, and I was thinking to myself, all right, like I felt pretty good, but I'm out of shape a little bit. It didn't feel great when I ran, and I was formulating a plan to get back in the gym on the drive home. Formulating it. Like, all right, I'm going to get this. I got to go to the store, get some chicken. Formulating that plan to get back on track. And I saw those little turds walking up with their wagon full of Girl Scout cookies, and I just said, "Oh no, you're gonna get me again. You got me again." And but I've been good. The willpower has good. But if they're not in the house, I won't eat them. If they're in the house, I'm gonna eat them. Period. The end. That's why I've told you we've had to remove peanut butter from our home entirely. Those things that you mentioned. There's no way. We don't buy the good snacks for our kids anymore, so they suffer because we have no willpower. But yeah, I'm out 5 boxes so far. I put them in the kitchen here at work, and I left them, and I haven't touched them. And they're almost gone.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed.
A lot of discipline there.
Lots and lots
of discipline.
It is not, because I would do anything, and I'll eat a sleeve of those peanut butter ones. A sleeve, the whole do-si-do. A whole thing. When Manny Machado was announced on the old radio station, when he was announced that he signed here, I was in the middle of eating a sleeve of tagalongs, and they are just so. I mean, I appreciate the work you guys do. You got to leave me alone on it. I have tried to avoid the grocery store because I know they're going to be parked out front. My willpower is not that great.
Can you say I already bought them when you see those girls, or is the faces the disappointment when you don't buy them too much for you?
Oh, maybe you'd like to buy some for our soldiers then. Okay. I will buy some for our soldiers. I'd be happy to. I'm going to be out like $400. I'm going to get 2 cookies out of the whole deal. But they've heard every excuse in the book. Oh, you pat yourself.
It's such a genius marketing strategy. Why don't they just have Girl Scouts like selling used cars?
Yeah, 100%.
Girl Scouts, real
Insurance.
estate agents.
Insurance.
Like, hey, I've got this $6 million listing. Here's your agent, 7 years old. Oh, can you please buy the house? We're trying to raise money for our troop.
Guzzinator says, pick up your phone and start talking on it. I do the fake phone call. I did. There was a lady the other day that was taking signatures for something. And there's always Habitat for Humanity or something. And I donate to different things. But when I go to the store, I don't want to be accosted walking into the store. So I just prefer to just go in, do my business, come out. I don't want to sign any petitions or anything. So I will literally, you'll see me walking into Stater Brothers doing this. Yeah, I know. No, he's crazy. No, him? Oh, he's nuts. I just fake phone call.
I have a game. I don't do the phone because that's cheating. I have a game. When you walk in Costco and they ask you, hey, do you need new heating or new solar? Do you already have solar panels? I try to look as determined as possible and see if they can just ignore,
pissed off.
I want to see if I can get them to ignore me. Like, I don't even want to approach that person. Like, I'm not going to even ask if that person, do you have Verizon or AT&T? We can do better. I want to be the person that they just think, no, he's not worth the trouble. And I'm batting pretty good. I'm batting about 70%. About 70% of the time they ignore me. About 30% of the time I still get the, hey, can I interest you in solar panels? No, I already have them. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the Verizon, and I'm like, hey, we can do better. I'm like, buddy, I don't want to. If I wanted to, you know where I would go? I would go to the Verizon store. I would just knock it out. I'd probably do it over the phone, maybe online. But when does this thing end, for real, though? When is the season over?
I might just be getting my groceries delivered.
I think it's all the way through through February, I think. Yeah,
through February.
I think it's the next few weeks at least,
God.
yeah.
All right, let's do a cookie count. I'm at 2 right now. You're at 0?
0.
You got to be honest about it.
0, but
Paulie, you're at 0?
I have a big bag of Reese's Animal Crackers at home, so
I'm not
gonna
count
what I'm going to do with more cookies.
I'm not going to count those.
The program began on Sunday the 28th. Trying to see when it ends.
TBD. I mean, thank God they don't sell them all year round because.
Yeah, I mean we're day 3 of Girl Scout cookie season right now.
A damn wreck about
it. Says here generally between January and April.
It's half of a baseball season. I got to deal with this. Yeah, get those groceries delivered.
Everybody who's shaming me about SD fat loss and Reese's cookies, guess what? You can have a cookie or 2 in your life after you've lost the weight. It's fine.
Moderation, right?
Don't eat the whole bag is what I'm saying. Just don't eat the whole bag.
We'll be getting a call later. I'm sure.
Fine. As long as you keep the weight off, I think it's
now
free to do what you want to do.
Local story, fox5.com. They say you can grab your cookies until March 10th.
Okay.
That's not as bad.
It's not as bad.
Still a long time.
They're just the best, man. They're like they're the best cookies. They really are. Like, they're my favorite cookies in the world, and I love them. And when I get sad, I eat. So I'm trying not to get sad.
Are they really your favorite cookies? If they were available every day of the year in the grocery store,
Benny, I would.
Would you just buy them, or are they only good because you can only have them for a limited amount of time?
Now, they make fake Samoas, and I've had them before. They're not even close to the same. I would crush those things up and snort them if I could, if they were here year-round. They're just the best. My favorite cookie ever made is the Samoa. And then there's 3 or 4 more in there that are like, all right, these will do. Yeah, I mean, if your wife makes homemade chocolate chip cookies, delicious. You eat 6 or 7 of those at one sitting.
All right, as long as we're talking about it. They have warm chocolate chip cookies now at the Costco food court. It's the new item. I almost was tempted, but there was too much of a line. And then I looked, and they put the calories in like 750. I mean, how big is this chocolate chip cookie? Like gigantic chocolate chip cookie. I've heard they're pretty good. I don't know if anyone in the chat has tried one yet. Did not get one, though. But I've heard people talking about the new chocolate chip cookies at the Costco food court.
I just remain fascinated by the Costco crew. That I just can't. I have so many of my friends are so into it, and I can't do it. I'm not made for Costco. My wife's not made for Costco.
I'm there at least twice a month.
I have an executive membership that I've had every year that I use one time.
You get to use the executive washroom when you're there?
Ben, I mean, honestly, if I wanted to do Bo's birthday party there, they'd probably let me. I've never not paid for the full membership. I go one time a year, and I swear I'm going to go. We're going to start going to Costco. But I just can't make it work for me.
We go every couple weeks?
I can't make it work for me. I don't have the space, and I just don't have the patience to go. And to save a few bucks, I don't know.
Here's my Costco. Well, I'll give you my Costco hack after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Several problems wrapping up our morning drive. Collision now on northbound 125 just before Grossmont College. It's blocking the left lane. They're still clearing this motorcycle accident southbound 125 near Spring Street. Also westbound King Freeway, an accident clearing near Federal, but up ahead near 30th Street, a crash. Couple vehicles involved. They're over to the right shoulder. North 5 coastline near the racetrack, a collision in the clearing stage. Now southbound side of the 15, right around Camino del Norte. There is a stalled vehicle partially in the HOV lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Ben's Costco hack. Expiration dates are huge when I go shopping. You know, you can go to Trader Joe's and get some good deals on something. You get like a gallon of milk or a half gallon of milk at Trader Joe's. You look at the date, it's like 2 days from now.
Right.
It's like, oh, February 2nd, this expires. I go to Costco, I have to get more. I get the 3 half gallons of milk, but they are good for like a month and a half. Yeah, because they get it like right away. It's like basically was in the cow 20 minutes ago. So it is really fresh, and you can keep it in your fridge for 3 weeks and it's fine. Whereas you buy one at Trader Joe's, you got to use that thing in the next 3 days or it's completely worthless. Because I don't know about you. That date, as random as it may be, as soon as you're a day after
vigilant.
it, I can't really eat it anymore.
It surprises me about you.
Yeah.
But I
mean, if I'm desperate and I smell it and it smells okay, I may do a day or two, but at that point, if it's expired, it's expired, and I just can't do it anymore. But the Costco stuff, like, why would you ever buy milk at Costco? It goes bad. No, if I went to Costco today, it would be like March 10th on the expiration. I'll go through 3 half gallons of milk in a month and a half, and it's fine. It's still good.
I just can't make it work for me. I just can't. There's something. I always end up. I'm like, remember in the movie Dumb and Dumber, Paulie? Ben won't know. When he's like, hey, just get the bare essentials. And he comes back and he's got a pinwheel and a giant foam hat and a case of beer. And he's got one of those paddles with a ball on it. That's me when I go to Costco. I come home and I'm like, I got a 12-pound meatloaf. I got 700 shrimp. Like Hannah's like, oh my god, dude, no one is gonna eat all this shrimp. So I end up standing at the counter eating 700 shrimp.
I pretty much every time have to stop at the short rib lasagna and go, that looks really good, and have to go, no, I don't need an entire lasagna today.
I'm telling you, man.
Don't need a giant lasagna.
I am him. I'm Jim Carrey, man. Case of Coors Light, a paddle ball, a giant foam cowboy hat, and a pinwheel walking down to Costco. Like $700 lighter, too. I'm so I'm impressed by people that make Costco work for them with meals and everything else. I just can't do it. I've tried. The chicken breast sleeve, that's 40 chicken breasts, and you have to use scissors to cut them and freeze them. I just can't do it, man.
I do a lot of my meal prep, staying on plan. I get the Kevin's Paleo, and it's got some good stuff that is good program meal for me, and I prep it for the week. I use it. It's like sous vide cooked, already prepared. Get it done in like 10 minutes, and I put it in my Tupperware, and I take it to work with me. Don't go out for a burrito anymore. It's one of the ways that I've kept the weight off over the last 6 months.
Yeah, man. And
I still get to have an animal cookie or two.
I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed by all of you guys. Very impressed. All right, we got a few minutes left here. What do you guys want to do? 3 minutes.
We've got like 2 minutes left.
We have 2 minutes left.
1 minute left.
Do you want to sit in quiet reflection?
That's not a bad plan.
I like that.
Got people talking about whether or not they get gas at Costco.
I do not. Never will.
The line is always intimidating. It moves really fast, though.
Totally.
It does.
Gas lines are gas lines. It doesn't spurt
so how
out
much
faster.
Are you really saving?
Benny,
so here's the hack on Costco
Are you telling
gas.
me that the gas comes out faster at the Costco gas?
It doesn't, but they've got 3 stations on every single one. But here's the trick. you can go to either side because the hoses are so long that if you're on the other side of the car, it can stretch. So you can go to the shortest line. You don't have to, my tank's on the left side of the car. I can only go to this one. I got to wait for this one. No, go to either side. The hose is long enough to stretch to either side of your car. Honestly, let's see. I paid $4.35 a gallon at Costco versus like $5 other places. So if you're getting 15 gallons,
but I know
about $6.
I know where Costco is in relation to your house.
But I'm already going to Costco. I don't go to Costco just for gas, but since I go to Costco twice a month, I tend to fill up while I'm there.
All right.
And I think that is worth it because I'm saving about $6 to $7
How
on
much
the
is
tank.
your wait? 15 minutes?
No, for the gas?
Yeah.
No. I never wait more than
10?
3 or 4 minutes.
I don't know if
I know when the times are not quite as busy.
There's another hack for
I go early, right when they open. Like if you go before, they actually open like 15 minutes before they say they're going to open. So like 10 o'clock, you show up at 9:45, they'll open the doors.
Let you in?
Yeah.
Well,
and you can go at 9:30. The gas is already open. There's no line at all.
Is it because you're VIP?
No. Everyone gets in.
Okay.
Everyone gets in.
All right,
Those are your
boys.
Costco hacks.
Like somebody says, up here in
On a
Washington,
Tuesday.
Costco is usually 20 cents cheaper than local. I mean, if you're getting 10 gallons of gas, you're saving $2. Like,
I think it's can be 50, 60 cents cheaper easily.
That's true.
So $5 or $6, I think it's worth it. All right, that's it for today. Annie and Elston are coming up next. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Guest tomorrow, Xavier Scruggs.
Let's go. Aztecs game. It's a sports
For
nirvana.
Paulie and Woods, I'm Ben. Have a great rest of your day, fan.